Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the chat. Who have we got here? First of all, I want to just introduce Mia. Welcome, Mia. Always a pleasure to be on the chat. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad.
Good. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot has happened over yesterday at Spurs. But before we do that, let's just have a little chat and see who's in the chat. Big up Ryan Macy. Welcome Kuva, the sexy beast himself is in the chat. We love you, Kuva. We do. We love you, Kuva. We do. Big up Rob Wallace. Yes, Kuva is a sexy beast. Correct. Big up Ryan Isaac. Start work at 5, mate. Fair play on a Sunday. God, I couldn't think of doing anything worse than starting work at 5 in the morning on a Sunday. But thank you for jumping in, mate. Hope you're well. Big up, I don't either. Big up Rob Wallace and the Koffmeister, Mr. Ben Kaufman. How are you doing, sir? The moderator's here. He just scopes. He knows when I'm live, and he just scopes to come on and moderate this chat. Mia, let's talk. Let's start talking about Tottenham Hotspur. And yesterday, the news came out, official by the club, that Dejan Kulusevski has agreed to sign for Spurs on a permanent deal. Spurs got it down by 5 million euros, and I think the fee comes to about 30 million euros, which is about 26 million pounds. There are also talks that it's going to be paid over a 6-year period. What is your thoughts, and is that good business from Tottenham that was done yesterday?
Yeah, I've got to say that we always sort of criticise, obviously, about penny pinching and stuff, but the way that they've done it is so it doesn't affect our transfer budget this year, like in the summer. So actually, it's a really, really good bit of business to pay it over that longevity, because that means it's very minimal, isn't it, what we're going to be paying. So, yeah, I think actually it's a really good bit of business, if I'm honest.
No, true. Susie, you've always got spanner privileges. If you refresh it, you should have got it. I thought I'd done it before, but you've got it. Love you, babe. Love you. The missus is in there controlling what I do, of course. We love you. She's the best. Of
course. She's got
all responsibility of the chat with the Koffmeister. Yeah, you should. If you refresh it, we should have given you the moderator.
Make sure, happy wife, happy life. Make sure you don't upset her.
Absolutely love her to bits.
And she puts up with you, Perchy, so,
she does. But all of the amazing graphics you guys have seen recently on my Twitter page, on my new Instagram. Also, yeah, guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't, go and follow my new Instagram page. Susie, love her, is the one that's created all the amazing graphics on there and all the stuff on there. So go over there. It's at the Perchy TV on Instagram. Go over there, go follow, and go check her out. We do a daily quiz of 3 questions a day. The questions from yesterday are still up, so go over there and check those out. And we just do all loads of stuff, a lot of interactive stuff, and I just want to sort of push more people to go over there and check it all out, because the work is amazing. It's brilliant. So that just nice push on that will be great, and then go and follow and just check all the stuff out. It's quite cool. I think, Mia, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It's fantastic. Yeah. Big up to Susie.
Big up, Susie. We love you. We love you. Credits due with 25 for Decky is a good deal. I agree, Koff. I think that's the key thing here. It's a really good bit of business. It's a really good bit of business. I think the Koff has put it in there. There you go. That's the Insta. Go check it out, guys. Go and go follow it. It's some good stuff over there. I've tried to follow most of you guys as well. If I haven't, I will follow you guys back, of course. So as I was saying, I think it's a really good bit of business what we've done here. £25 million for a player that, yes, last season, I think we can all collectively agree that he wasn't good enough last year. Last season, not good enough. Technically, really gifted player. I think there's no debate about that, about his technical ability. I think we need to just start pushing now with him and go, we expect more. It's a good bit of business, no?
It is a really good bit of business, like I said. And I think that under Postecoglou is that I think we're going to have someone who wants to coach him as well. So I feel like that he's going to be coached. He's still relatively young as well, don't forget. So, I think people forget how young he actually is. He's still a young guy, really. So he's got plenty that he can still learn and be coached, where Conte wasn't someone who really liked to coach. So I feel like that he probably didn't get the coaching with him. So maybe that will make a difference to him as well with how he plays and his ability, like, to improve him.
Yeah, no, absolutely bang on. I think for me at the moment, next season, the key one at the moment we've got to do is find the right position for him, is my opinion. I think we have to find the right position for him to flourish. Because as I said, technically, great player. Technical ability, there's no debate on that part at all, on his technical ability. For me, though, it's about finding where he suits his system. And that's where I've had all the people go, oh, you don't like Kulusevski, but no, I do. I actually think he's really good. But I don't know where he fits in the Postecoglou system. And I hope we've not just bought a bench player because it's good value. It's the same with the argument we had yesterday with Longley. Everyone on the debate was going, oh, yeah, but we're just buying him because it's a cheap buy. This is a cheap buy for a player in Kulusevski. But is he good enough to find the right mould for us? I think we can find a role for him, but we need to know what it is quickly. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I feel like Postecoglou is a smart guy. I feel like that he will find a place for him. I think that he probably would have had to have approved it. I don't think that they would have gone ahead with it if he said he couldn't work with him, because Postecoglou is not like that. So I believe that Postecoglou will find a place for him, definitely. Agreed.
No, absolutely, totally agree. I totally agree with you. The other real talking point is another player that looks like he's going to be staying with us. He's a young 15-year-old by the name of Mickey Moore. Now, I think keeping a hold of this young lad is very important. And I'll caveat in saying, I think we have to make sure we sort our academy system for this kid. He's been playing at levels that he should never be at. Does that make sense? He's playing in under 18 level at the age of 15, under 17 at the age of 15. I don't think people recognize it when they talk about players. When we talk about players, when you're at that age and you're playing at that level, there is a real talent there. When you're playing, oh, see, Dog loves Mickey Moore as well. See, he was like, we got to keep hold of him. But my thought point on this is that we've got to keep a hold of this lad and we've got to nurture him, and we have to show him now in the next 5 to 7 years that there is a space for him to be in the first team. We've got to show development from his level to the first team. We haven't done that. We've lost the likes of Romain Mundle this week. We've obviously lost the likes of Madueke in the past, Marcus Edwards in the past. We need to show these young lads that there is a route to the first team, and we haven't really shown that in recent history. That for me is the killer blow. What about you? What are your thoughts, Mia? Me. I think me is sorting the dog out, so I will carry on. Tottenham and Tour. Big up Ryan Isaacs. Tottenham and Tour are gate crashing. Go over there and subscribe if you haven't to Tottenham and Tour. Amazing content with Mr. Daigle, Mr. Kiriakou, Mr. Isaacs, and obviously the power-hungry moderator is Mr. Kaufman over at Tottenham on Tour. Go and subscribe. It's got to be done. Kulu Cam or right attack. Last season, he was played while still injured. That's on our club. We'll see the Kulu from when we first arrived.
Sorry. I had to run to the door quickly. I was like, oh no, the door.
And that's all right. And you know, when you talk about Brian Daigle and you talk about Tottenham and Tour, and then at a click of a finger, it's like you hear, it's when the Batman calls out, Levy out, the man arrives.
Joe, what it's like? It's like the Candyman. They say if you say Candyman 3 times, he appears.
You say Levy out a couple of times and Mr. Daigle just appears. How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the channel.
Thank you, brother. Big up to you and Mia and everyone in the chat. No, what I was listening, and then I sent you a WhatsApp saying I might come on. Then you started talking about Mikey Moore, and I was like, I've got to come on.
Go on, mate.
Mikey Moore.
I send the link out away, so you don't have to ask if you can come on. You're always anyone that gets the link is always welcome on here, of course.
Yeah, and Mikey Moore signing and committing his future to Tottenham Hotspur is one of the biggest things to happen to us regarding our youth products. This kid, the only way I can liken him is Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler vibes. With how they're
big shoes to fill, though, isn't it?
They're huge shoes to fill. But this guy, like I said, Real Madrid were after him. We've moved heaven and earth to make sure this deal gets done. He's a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
playing in the under 70. He's
17s, 18s, and 21s. That says a lot, doesn't it? And that was what I was just making the point out earlier, Brian. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to there, but
that's right, brother.
Is what I meant earlier when I was saying that it says a lot for a kid of his age to be playing at that level, because I don't think we give enough credit to it when we see young lads playing in under 21s, under 18s, and under 17 level, because usually you have to be that age within that age bracket to be playing at that level, because lads are bigger, and the fact he's competing at that level says a lot about him. But as I was mentioning earlier, Brian, I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Yep.
I think we have to change our youth strategy for this kid. In my opinion, we have to show this young lad that there is a route to the first team for him.
Well, you got to look at it as well. You got my boy Alfie, who's hopefully going to get more time this season. Alfie Dorrington has signed a brand new contract, which is big. Well. He's spent a lot of time watching the youth football, and there are a few stars coming through. Like you said, the right thing now is the right pathway.
Do you think?
Go on, Mia.
Yeah, do you think that it's something to do with Bostogoglu? Because they know that he is someone who's very much on board with the youth. Do you think he's spoken to them or done something? Because it's just all of a sudden it seems like a lot of our youth players are staying, like they are committing themselves.
I actually think, Mia, it might have something to do with him, but I think the biggest influence that there's been on this is Yaya Toure. Yeah, you got a genuine footballer. You got a genuine world-class footballer who is now working with the youth and seeing this. And big up Ryan, brother. And I think he has had it's a pint glass. It is a pint glass.
Huge.
It's just the camera angle. Look at that. Whoa. It's like Jaws going across the ocean, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Yaya Toure has had a huge influence. I think you've got a point here with Andrew, with a certain person saying we've got to trust the youth. We've now got to see if there's a pathway. And these players, if they aren't going to get first team minutes, not Mikey Moore because he's too young, they need to go out on loan to top quality Premier or not Premier, but Championship teams or maybe Premier League teams and get these minutes, because there are players there. You look at Arsenal right now, bringing in Emil Smith-Rowe and Ketia, Zaka. They're all doing it. If you're young enough, you're good enough.
Of course.
Alfie Devine is certainly good enough, and Mikey Moore is going to be one hell of a player.
Brian, exactly how I see it, and that's how I will. But this is where we've got to right our wrongs of the past of letting the likes of Madueke, Marcus Edwards, these lads who Mundle of late,
Markande.
Yeah, Markande. Listen, these lads may not have been the greatest players at us. They may not have succeeded. But these lads felt that they deserved an opportunity. And my point is Mundle has a real gripe. And I actually agree with him why he wouldn't have signed it. He must be sitting there going, how bad do these lads have to play week in, week out for me not to even get an opportunity? For me, that for me is the bit that, especially, I think it shows more when we're playing badly. If we're playing well, by the way, and we're winning games week in, week out, and we're competing at the highest level, you can kind of go, okay, do you know what? I can't argue. These lads are winning. We're getting beat week in, week out, and these young lads are going, I can do this here. Give me an opportunity. And we don't even give them an opportunity. We put players like Mundle on the bench, but then don't even bring him on. What's the point? And this is for me where I can understand his gripe for leaving. I think we need to be much more smarter now and go, do you know what? These young lads need an opportunity. Listen, even if the opportunity, by the way, for the likes of Devine, let's use him for example, is the Carabao Cup this season. Let's just say we're going to play him in every Carabao Cup game. Why not?
Yep.
Or what we're going to do is we're going to have him on the bench, and if we need to, we will bring him on. He will be used as a squad rotational player. instead of just going out there buying stuff. Mia, what are your thoughts as well? Because I think that's a key one, isn't it? No.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, do you know what, with the managers that we've had in the past, when you look at a Jose and a Conte, they don't promote that. They don't like have that pathway where things have to change. We have to make sure that we make sure that there is that pathway for our youth players, like it is so, so important. And I feel like Postecoglou is opening that up. Like, I feel like he's come in and he will do that. So I feel like that maybe is a shift now where we haven't had that. That's why our players have left, because they didn't see them getting themselves any time with a Conte or Jose. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, exactly. I just want to touch a Garage Classics, please. Not that now. It's no need.
Yeah, let me just. I saw the comment. Let me just address
I didn't mean to pin it. I apologize. But
no, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. I mean, when people do this, especially with fake names like Garage Classics, no avatar or anything, and just come onto streams and try to do things like this, it's just very, very sad. There's a thing that rocked this community to its very core.
Yeah,
has done things to people mentally, financially, emotionally, and you think you're the big man for coming out and putting comments like that. There's really just no need for it.
There's no need. And listen, and I continuously stress on this channel. Let's keep it football. We're here to talk about football. We're here to talk about it. None of that has got anything to do with football, so let's leave it. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to bring it up again. No, Paddy. I'm not going to block. Listen, I always give everyone an opportunity. One chance. God. One opportunity. That's all I say. One chance, and that's all you're getting. You get and that's it. Big up Paddy Harnett. I hope you're well, mate. What we need with Mornaz, and let this kid develop, and not keen on asking him to play in the first team. He's young. He's 15 years of age, Paddy. I think we need to give him a good 6 years now to develop, and in that 6 years, show progression, up levels, get into the academy, show the academy what he's got. For me, we have to. For me, I've always you guys can sort of vouch in your belief on this. There's got to be a rite of passage, right, at Tottenham, and not just Tottenham, any football club. Any kid that's in an academy should have a rite of passage to the first team. If they show they're good enough, they work their way to it. And you're right. I agree with what you're saying, Paddy. Not about demanding him play in the first team. It's not what I'm saying. We're not here saying he's going to be the next Harry Kane. He might come out to be that. We don't know. But what we want though is to show a rite of passage and show that this kid. We have to show this kid that it doesn't matter how good or bad you are at a certain level. That if you apply yourself and you put enough in it, you'll get to the first team. I think, do you guys share that opinion?
Definitely.
Go on, Mia, you go first.
Yeah, no, definitely. They have to show it throughout. They have to show that they've got the right attitude as well, as long as they keep on the correct path, because we know that some youngsters can go down a bit of a wayward path. Then absolutely they should show the right intentions and the right attitude and be able to get that time. Definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. What about you, Daigle, mate? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm with Paddy on this one. Only when it comes to Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore, we're talking about a 15-year-old. Oh, he's that person, is he? Yeah. Well, I'll give him my address if he wants to come to me. Garage Classic, you're more than welcome to pop down and see me. But yeah, going back to it, Mikey Moore, I completely agree with Paddy. This is a kid that we have to nurture. We have to develop. Like I said, just because he's now playing in under-18 football as a 15-year-old and smashing it doesn't mean that we just shove him into the first. People like Divine need to start getting minutes. People like Dorrington need to start getting minutes, whether it be at Tottenham Hotspur, which I prefer it, or out on loan so they can come back to the club and be a lot better. But yeah, Mikey Moore has got to be treated very, very carefully and very, very well, because no jokes with who was trying to go for him. Some real big guns, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, were interested in. This is a very, very, very hot talent, and we've just got to make sure we don't rush this one. We've got youth players ready to come in now. We've got players that deserve an opportunity. Mikey Moore's a little way away from that.
No, absolutely bang on. Bang on. But exactly with this, Paddy, I agree. It's just about letting this kid grow naturally. Let's not force it. I agree.
And you know what? When you look at it as well, quickly, sorry to finish off, is that
right.
he's 15 and
Exactly.
my eldest is only 15 this year, and they're still so very vulnerable, and you have to do it in the absolute correct way because they're still growing as people. Their brains are developing, so it has to be done absolutely correctly. No pressure on the kid. It's got to be done in the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely bang on. I just wanted to sort of note, guys. We've got 20 likes. There's 60 of you in here, guys, and there's only 20 likes. Come on, smash the like button. As I said, if we pass 50 likes, I'll put the link in the chat, and then as long as you have your camera on, I'll let you on. That'll be great. Yeah, so we've got 60 in here. So smash the likes. Let's try and get that over to 50. That'd be brilliant. We've got some questions, and obviously, also, yeah, don't forget to, if you're in here and you haven't, don't forget to subscribe. We're now on the road to 900. We hit 800 yesterday.
Well done, brother.
We hit it on stream, which was great, actually. And obviously, Susie, if you're still in here, you did the amazing graphic that I put up yesterday, and obviously, I put it on the socials today. So go and check all those out. Obviously, go and check out the new Instagram page, check out all the other socials, Twitter, which you can come and see me just being very much myself on social media, which is fun. But yeah, let's go into some. We got started a load of questions. Big up Ryan Massey, mate. Big up to you, Perchy. If you, Mia, and Brian could take one player from each relegated team, who will they be and why? Mia, start us off.
Oh, do you know what? That's you go, or let Brian go, because I'm going to have to think about what I want.
Oh, Brian,
obviously,
I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, Leicester is obviously Maddison. Let's be serious. Leeds would be Jack Robinson.
You mean Jack Harrison?
Harrison.
Jack Robinson, that's right, played for QPR.
Harrison, my bad. And I can't remember. Who's the other team that got relegated?
Southampton.
So that James Ward-Prowse. Or
Okay.
actually, I do like the goalkeeper they had.
Really?
I do. I think you got to remember how young he is. I think if we're to get, let's say, Raya and then him as number 2, we're set. Mm-hmm. We're set.
Yeah.
Oh no, full ball. I love full ball so much. I've always loved this man. Southampton, love you.
Oh, you nicked mine. That's
no, full ball did.
Yeah.
Full ball got there. Cheers, full ball, brother.
Do you know what? For Leicester, I'm not very keen on Maddison. There's something about him that I've always said that I'm a bit take it or leave it with Maddison, you know. So I don't know if I would probably maybe go for either one of their defenders, possibly. Or it's so hard because I don't know if any of them are that particularly like what we are looking for. So either that or maybe an attacker, Tete. I don't know. There's not really, like I say, in Leicester's team that I can think of that I think, oh yeah, I'm really keen on them. Do you know? Mm-hmm. And even with Southampton, Ward-Prowse, I feel like is a bit of a free kick.
I like Ward. See, I'll be honest. I'm going to say it now. I like Ward-Prowse.
I'm a fan of this.
I think he's really nice. Rams, João Pelini plays at Fulham, did not get relegated. You're out. So
I have to say, don't you just wish for someone like James Ward-Prowse with like American football and you can just bring on the special kicker for like free kicks?
Yeah,
and you just have Maddison, Ward-Prowse on the bench and just go, on you go. Take a free kick and off you come.
Lavia, Notto and Maddison. Who have you gone for, Mia?
I think Lavia I would go for. Absolutely. Yeah, and like I say, like it's about who would fit into our team, and I just don't know if there is many of the ones that have been relegated. If there's many of them that I would feel like would actually fit in, or maybe I've just been a bit fussy. But like I say, for me, I really don't think that Ward-Prowse. I feel like he's a bit of just a free kick. I don't know if he offers anything else. I think in Southampton, Bella Kocha's another one I really like.
Yeah.
Bella-Kocha's a good player.
Twitchy Max gone for a good one. I like this. Madison, Bella Kochap, and Tyler Adams. That ain't a bad show.
Adams.
Do you want my 3? My 3. Madison. I think that's a no-brainer. I think it's creativity we need. I would have gone Bella Kochap because we need a not bad defender. And at Leeds, it's a tough one. It's between one or two. I'd go Robin Koch or Notto, the Italian lad. I think it'll be one of those two. So I'm going to go Robin Koch because we need defenders. That's my three. That's my three. No, I like that question. That was really cool. Thanks, Ryman, for that question. We've got some more. Video complete Sofian. I love your name because I have to say it really quickly. Perchy, what do you think of Tosin Adebayo coming to Tottenham? Guys, I'll let you guys. I think I like him. Tall, strong defender. The only thing with that is I don't think he's much of a leader. So I think we still need another defender. So I like him though. I like the looks of him. I think he looks like a really unit of a defender. But what are your guys' thoughts?
I kind of said the same. I just don't think he goes well with Romero because he's quite young, isn't he, as well? And I don't think he's got that, like you say, that leader thing. He is ridiculously tall, though. I'm like, my God, he's over 6 foot. And he is a strong guy. But I don't know if it's got to be someone who will have a good partnership if he is the main defender with Romero. And I just don't know if he is that personally.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Brian?
I think he's a good defender. I think he is a good defender. Is he a defender that I would say comes into this and drastically changes what Tottenham Hotspur do and don't concede 63 goals next season?
No, we can't.
It's hard to say. I think he had a good season last season. I've pinned my number one target, and my number one target realistically, because in Capier and Laporte, people need to get those ideas out of their head.
Sort of thing.
It's not happening. If it does happen, I'll be absolutely amazed and incredibly impressed. But I want Guehi from Crystal Palace.
Oh, I'd like a Guehi.
That's who I want. I think he is strong. He is powerful. He is quick. He's young. He's a captain.
Brian's put this. Would you have Jonathan Tah as a free agent? He's just been released from Bayer Leverkusen.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. This is listen. What I think what we've got to get around. We can all brand these names out, but if Postecoglou says I want player X and we get player X, then I'm delighted.
Agreed.
Then I'm delighted. This we're not just Tottenham Hotspur fans, but all fans. Every window, every season, I want this one. Let's get this one. And we play Championship Manager. I would love Guehi. He is my number one choice outside of the two that I mentioned that are just pipe dreams to come to the club. But how much do we have to spend? Where are we going to spend it? So for me, it's Guehi, and Jonathan Tah ain't a bad shout.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, definitely, totally agree with that. Everything you say there, mate. Got more. We got more. I like this. We got questions. Full ball, big up, mate. Hope you're well. If you could only choose one player from the 90s, the noughties, and the 010s to play in this current team, who would it be? I'll leave it with you two.
Oh, 90's got to be Gaza, surely.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that's
got to be Gaza.
Is this one player from Tottenham, by the way, football?
Oh, that's true. We don't know.
Even if it wasn't, it's still Gaza.
Yeah, still Gaza. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. No, he's put it in again. Yeah, bracket Spurs. So I'm assuming that relates to it has to be a Spurs player.
So you got Gaza. Oh, do you know what? Even with Gaza, is there 91. Gaza, very, very closely followed by Jurgen Klinsmann.
Does Ginola fall into the naughties? Just. Yeah. Oh, you got to go Gaza, Ginola then, and 10s.
Berbatov's just 10.
Berbatov, wouldn't it?
Oh, there's too many. There's too many good ones.
I think in the 10s right now, you can't look any further than Ledley King.
Oh, no, that's absolutely
with what we've got right now. So it'd be Gaza, Ledley King for the 2010s, and Jesus Christ, the 2000s. Do you know what? Football, whenever we did blooming Ask Us Anything on my channel, football came out the greatest questions. He's on fire again. Yeah, I think you've got to go Ginola.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I think Ginola. But what are we saying for the 10s, though? Are we agreeing on... Are we agreeing on Ledley? I think that's fair. Ledley King, David Ginola, and it has Paul Gascoigne. Now that would be 3 players that I would love at Tottenham right now. Honestly, wow. Yeah, I can imagine. That's the thing. I'd love it. And big up Juice Monkey over on Twitch. Is he the only one still on Twitch? If you haven't, go over there. He is. He's still the only one watching on Twitch. Go over to Twitch if you haven't and go and follow me over there. That'd be great. We're trying to push out the Twitch as well. Do you think, or would you like any Celtic players to follow Ange to Spurs? I know I would. I would love to know your guys' opinions.
Jota and that Kai.
Are we counting Jota? He was on loan from Benfica.
Oh,
I think we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, I watched precisely 0 minutes of Scottish football last year. 0. Even Old Firm derbies, when I was like, oh, I want to watch the Old Firm, and then never got round to it. So I can't possibly say, but I know there's a couple he wants. I think you just got to look as well. I know we talk about it just being the Scottish League. Look what he's done with Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Yeah.
It shows that he can, we can all talk it's a lesser league, it's this, it's that. But he's turned a player that we didn't even give a chance to winning 5 trophies in 2 years. And doing very, very well from what I'm hearing there.
It shows what having faith in a player can do, can't it?
Yeah, it does.
And I think that for me is such a key one. For me, there's 2 players I would love from that team that he had. And before people go, oh, you never heard of him. And it's true, I never heard of these players. Not never heard of them, I knew him, but I never seen him play. But I watched a bit of stuff, and that's Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate. I tell you what, I'd love them at Spurs. As I said, high energy, effort, desire from midfield. Something that we haven't got at Tottenham. We just haven't got any legs, energy, or anything at Spurs. I'd love those 2. Mia, you went Jota, didn't you?
Yeah, and that Kygo, is it Kai? I can't ever say their names.
Kygo,
yeah. Also because he's exactly what Ange would want, and also he knows his system, right? So it's good to have somebody who knows the system. So I think that he'd be someone who definitely would go for. I would love to see it at the club.
No, agreed. I think that's great. And also, guys, if you haven't, guys, go and put some more. Put your comments in. If you want a question, just put a Q next to it, and I will. If I don't read them immediately, it's just because I've pinned them, and then we'll do it like this. We'll just break it down, and we'll do all the questions in one go. So don't feel like I'm not I'm not ignoring you. I'm just pinning them straight away. So questions are flying in. Obviously, we started the talks, Brian. You weren't here, so I'll let you get your thoughts on it about Kulusevski's officially now announced as a Tottenham player on a 5-year contract. What are your thoughts? Do you think good deal, or are you in the? Because I've been in there. I think the deal was great, but I always about what a caveat to this. Where do you see him playing in his Postecoglou system?
Well, this is the thing. He is very, very versatile. I agree with what you said. We need to nail down a position with him. Like I said for a couple of years with Japhet Tanganga, we just play him all over the place.
And now we don't know what's best.
Exactly. They become this kind of utility. They become the jack of all trades and the king of none. So I think it's a great deal. Listen, this is a signing we knew was going to happen. All the rumours, it may not, it might. This was always going to happen. So it's a signing. It's great to have him back and know he's ours permanently. He's another player like Son last season that played completely injured and should have been rested. And I personally think that Porro shouldn't be a right back anymore. He should be a right winger competition with Kulusevski and actually have a manager that rotates them. Because I want to see us take both cups as seriously as possible. As seriously as they come. So you got none of this travelling and jet lag and air travel and all this that could affect the body. I want to see us seriously go for cups, and I mean seriously go for cups. And you need to rotate. And I think at the moment we got Porro and Kulusevski to fight for the right wing position, and Porro has the option to go back.
Yeah,
and then we have Emerson and Jed Spence, unless.
That's a fair shot.
Someone else. You got 2 and 2 there for the rotation to keep them. I think it's a really good deal. I tweeted about it and said it's a good deal. We knew it was coming. It's great to have it over the line, but let's actually get the players in that we need now from that weren't on loan. But I'm happy he's there, because I believe the real Kulusevski we saw in his first half or second half of the first season he was there, not what we saw last season. If he can get anywhere back to that, we're talking about a guy that was the first person ever in Premier League history to get over 10 assists when signing in January.
Yep.
So we know what he can do. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. As I said, I've always got the I was a skeptic, and people will now probably go, oh well, you went back and you're now flip-flopping. No, because I've always said Kulusevski's a great player. The only criticism I had is I just think we need to find where he plays, and I didn't want us to fall into the trap of just signing a player for the sake of signing a player. I want us to get rid of this thing. And it's the same argument as Longley. I don't want us just to be signing Longley for the sake of signing Longley because we can get it for 5 million, 6 million euros or whatever it is. That was the same argument I had with Kulusevski. I don't care if the deal was good. I want to know that we've gone, do you know what? We're going to bring him in because he's going to play here and he's going to be my number one in this position. Or what I'm going to do is I feel he's got the ability to play in this position and we're going to play him there. That's all my argument was, and my debate was about it. When people were going, "Oh, you're mad for not wanting," no, I think Kulusevski's great, but I want us to get out of this notion of just getting players for the sake of getting players. I've always been like that, and I've been like that for years. And I've been critical of this football club for signing players because it's a good deal, than signing players because it's right for the team. As I said, I've always stand with this thing: square peg, round holes.
Yep.
I want us to be buying square pegs for square pegs, or round holes around round objects around holes. So that's all of been my argument. And big up to Mr. Ryan Isaacs. How are you doing, mate? Would you have prime Ericsson or prime Gaza?
I have to tell the story behind this. I was round at Ryan Isaacs' house for the Manchester City Leipzig whatever Champions League game, and they won 7-1 or whatever it was. And Ryan and I were having this debate because Ryan didn't get to see Gaza at all. He knows Gaza because of the Arsenal free kick and the Scotland goal. And he turned around to me and he said, "Do you know what? I reckon in their prime, Ericsson was better than Gaza." And I was like, "Are you mad? Are you some kind of correct?" And he was like, no, he did. Look what he did in this. And I was like, "Do you want me to put a poll on Twitter?" So I did. And let's just say he got about 4,000 votes and 96% said Gaza. Then we did it on our WhatsApp group for the Unique Out group, 100% Gaza. Yeah. And he kept trying everywhere. And everywhere it came back, it was 100% Gaza.
No, I mean, how can you argue with that? I mean, you're absolutely right. Ryan, I think Brian's argument completely defunct your argument here. I think you're mad for thinking that. I just want to say, welcome, Jason, mate. Welcome to the show, mate. I did see your message come through, but because I haven't got the Twitter, Instagram post, I thought I'll post it to you over on. I'll post it over to you on Twitter and stuff. Welcome to the show. Hope you're well. Just before I go to you, though, I just want to say, guys, we're at 33 likes, guys. Come on, let's not be Daniel Levy on the like button. It's a free hit. You should love that. Let's hit that. Let's get that over 50. Come on. And we might get a few of you guys in the chat on for a chinwag. There's 92 of you in here. And as I said, 34 likes. And we're also up to, what are we up to? We're up to 808 subscribers. So come on. And if you haven't subscribed, do so as well. Jason, mate, welcome. We've been sort of delving into the talk about Kulusevski, Mikey Moore. I'd like to get your opinions on that, on the Kulusevski deal, and also the appointment that we're going to be. Mikey Moore will be signing long term at Tottenham. What are your thoughts, mate?
Well, first of all, thanks, Perchy, for bringing me on. Kulu, I mean, we all saw what he did the first 6 months he was with us, and I agree with Brian. I think the whole season this year he's been injured, and I think for me, with the whole dropping of Kulu when Son was playing very poor for Richarlison, and we all screamed out for Sonny to be dropped, but Kulu was one that got dropped. I think that was a massive confidence hit. and then playing injured all season. I don't think we saw the best of Kulu, but for 25 mil, I don't think you can turn it down. I thought we'd lose the deal because you know what Daniel Levy's like. But I think getting Kulu for 25 mil is great. And I don't know much on Mikey Moore. I did see it all over Twitter today. But I mean, you guys, you know, in Australia we don't get that much on the younger players. But I'm sure if you guys can big him up, then I'm pretty confident on his future with us.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. I think if you watch some of the stuff in the cup finals that he won, I mean, he looks a class act. I think Brian, I think you watched it probably a bit more in depth than I did as well. But you see some of the clips. I saw more of the clips than watching the game. But I went, this is a young lad that needs nurturing at this football club, and we can't let this lad down. We've got to look at what we've done with Harry Kane. And listen, I think Harry Kane's amazing. But we can't let this lad down like we've let Harry Kane down, in my opinion.
So no, yeah, one thing I will say, sorry, Jason, very, very quickly. This is one thing. This is one thing that we have to give Paratici a lot of praise for. We can talk about what he's done on the field and his problems off the field, but one thing he did come in and do is come in and rip everything apart and try to put everything into place to say this is how a football club should run. And he's done something with the youth setup and ripped it up and started again. So if there's anything that Paratici deserves praise for, it's what he's done behind the scenes in trying to restructure how this football club operates. Because, like he said, he came in and it was like nothing he'd seen before. So I think there's no. It's parallel with all these youth players coming through now that they've been a setup has been put in place for a blueprint for them to follow. So I think Paratici does deserve some credit with where this youth is going at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, but for me, I've always said though, like we just need to have a bit more of a rite of passage for these young lads. I've said it all along. We've got another question. Mia, I'll let you. Do we think Dane Scarlett will get any minutes, or has his progress stalled a bit? What are your thoughts on Dane Scarlett?
Yeah, he hasn't been that great, has he, out on loan? But I do feel like that he needs to get back to it. And I wonder if Postecoglou could be the man to sort of encourage him. But the problem with that is if he's not good enough, then he's not going to get minutes with Tottenham. So I'm not sure if we should actually loan him out again. It's a really tricky one with Dane Scarlett. With his progress, because it has sort of stalled, but I feel like Postecoglou is the kind of encouraging, and obviously so if he's back at Tottenham, could he get those a bit more time and being shown that he has got a route and maybe he will improve. But it's really hard. Like I'm a bit undecided about Dane Scarlett. I was kind of like saying, yeah, we have got Dane Scarlett, but he hasn't been doing that great, has he, out on loan?
No, I agree. I think it's a hard one now with this, and it's the same. You could put Dane Scarlett in the same bracket as the likes of Troy Parrott, where just haven't. Troy Parrott for me doesn't score any level he's at. Really, he doesn't score enough goals at any level.
But sorry to interrupt. Joe, what quickly to interrupt is that with Dane Scarlett, I feel like he's got the right attitude. With Parrott, I feel like he's got a bit of the wrong attitude. I feel like that Parrott's not got the attitude, where Dane Scarlett, I feel like he has got that drive to do better. I feel like he probably has got a bit more of the correct attitude, just from what I've seen.
No, definitely. No, I agree. Jason, what are your thoughts? Do you think there's a chance for Troy Parrott to get into the first team, or do you think it's probably one of those either we loan or sell?
Well, I've always been a fan of Troy Parrott. I always saw him as kind of like the regen of Harry Kane, but the last couple of years on loan hasn't really done much. Seems to be injury prone. But with Dane Scarlett, I think he can maybe do something. I think unfortunately he's playing in an era where there's Harry Kane and Son in his two main positions, and I don't think he plays on the right that much. I do think maybe a couple of years of on loan, but after that, I do think there's something in there, and he has got the right attitude. I think he just we saw him a bit under, was it Jose Marine? We saw him a little bit. He has got a knack for goal, but I think we just need to give him a couple more years of nurture before we try and chuck him in the deep end.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel really worried that now, like, these are lads now that they're starting to break into the sort of 20. I think Troy Parrott's now 21, 22 now.
Yeah.
And you start going, you need to be playing first team football realistically at 22 or in and around the first team. I feel he's not even in that level anymore. I think he's a championship player at absolute best. And that for me is a concern. So you go, do you know what do you do? Do you keep or sell? And I think sometimes you do. If a player's not at the right level, then it is right time to let go. We've got a question. Let me just.
Can I just quickly answer about Dane Scarlett very quickly?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Brian.
I'm going to go with Dane Scarlett. I'm going to go the other way, and we should keep it. But the way I see it with him is, you've got to remember, whenever he played for Tottenham, we played him in Conference League games, and we didn't play him alongside a Harry Kane or quality. It was like, just go up there and do your thing.
Yeah,
again,
I agree. We let him down there.
We kept playing him because we didn't have a Kane backup. It was Kane have a rest. Okay, we'll love this young kid and see what he can do. There was no Richarlison or anything like that. I think with Dane Scarlett, what you got to remember now is when he comes back to Tottenham in July, you have one Jermaine Defoe there to coach him. You have a Yaya Toure there to coach him. I don't want him going on loan. I want him to spend 6 months with our youth academy, doing what he does, get a bit of confidence back, learning off one of the greatest predators we've ever had in Jermaine Defoe. Yeah, learning a bit more about the game with Yaya Toure and see how he develops up until January. And if we think, okay, there's a player there and he's come on a lot, then send him out on loan and be assured that he gets first team. Make sure that he gets first team football, like written in it, that he has to play a percentage of games. Yeah, and then let's see what he's got. I think learning under Jermaine Defoe and with the pressure being off him that he doesn't have to go straight into the deep end because Richarlison's there could be the making of him. Troy Parrott is someone I haven't, but Paddy's put a comment there saying he's not going to make it. And he's been watching him since he's 14, and Paddy will know a lot more about him. Yeah, of course. He watched him through the with Ireland. But Dane Scarlett, I am convinced there's a player there, and I think under the tutelage of Jermaine Defoe, I mean, if Jermaine Defoe could take all of us and give us 6 months, and we'd be better players. So what he can actually do as a professional is we'll wait and see.
So your thoughts of where I was gonna sit with the Dane Scarlett thing. I don't think loaning him out is the right option for us now. I think it's keeping a hold of him, keep him around the first team, and going, do you know what? Like, let him work with the likes of. Listen, if here's one for you. If Harry Kane stays for one more year, surely the best thing for Dane Scarlett is to be in the first team, working with Harry Kane. Yeah. Even if Harry Kane is going to leave at the end of the season, at the end of next season, let's just say, surely the best thing we can do for this young lad is go, do you know what? Live and breathe with Harry Kane for a year. Wherever he goes, you go with him. Mentor him. Go to Harry, listen, if you're going to go, can you mentor this lad? Because this lad, we want to be as good as you. And for me, if that's the case, I'd love that. If we go, stay on the pitch like Harry Kane is one of the, it's well documented. Harry Kane is one of those that is the first on the training pitch and one of the last off it. I remember I watched a video, I don't know if any of you watched it, when they said Harry Kane used to just sit on the training pitch on his own, kicking a bag of balls into the goal from certain areas of the pitch. He said he used to do that on his own. He said he used to just take a bag of balls with him and just shoot at a goal. Do you think players like that need to do that?
Joe, what?
Start learning it.
Yeah, training around the first team with someone like a Harry Kane is going to be instrumental for a lot of our youngsters. Like, I feel like that a lot of them can learn from those players, and just being in training like consistently with them is going to be so good for their development.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree with you on that. Paddy said he won't like my stream until we answer this question, so I'll answer him, because you know when I said earlier again, just keep it football in here. However, there is one caveat: we're allowed to talk about biscuits and chocolate on this as well. That's one thing on this. So our Kit Kat's a biscuit, just to annoy the Koffmeister because he hates this comment. Is a Kit Kat a biscuit or a chocolate bar? And you have to answer it now.
chocolate bar.
Chocolate.
Correct.
Thank you. It's a chocolate bar. There you go, Paddy.
Do you know
Answered it.
why?
Now,
Because I just
like it.
Googled it. I've just Googled it for everybody, right? Listen to this. The reason that a chocolate bar is a chocolate bar because it's individually wrapped. Biscuits tend to come in packets.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that didn't work.
Oh, thank you.
I was trying to pin Mia as she said it, just so. But then I gave everyone to see your beauty.
You gave it to me. You're doing my ventriloquist. You didn't tell me how to be a ventriloquist.
That was brilliant. Yeah, no, big up, Paddy, absolute legend. Welcome to the channel, mate. Love it to bits. Yeah, I know. Coover's going to be fuming. Coover is going to be pissed. He's adamant it's a biscuit when it's not. It's a chocolate
It's
bar.
not.
Wake up.
If you Google it, tells Google tells you, Coover, what a chocolate bar is, in like opposed to a biscuit. So Google's got to be right.
Who's listening? Fuming. Guys, just want to say 7 more likes and it up to 50, and then I will put the link in the chat, and you can come and join my beautiful panel up here.
And also, if you want more of my oracle, go to Spurs Between the Lines. See?
Oh, I like it. I like that. That was good. Go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour, and go and subscribe to Mia up there as well. Mr. Kaufman. Jacob, have you got a channel? Hello, Jacob? Hello? Can you hear me?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jason.
I said Jacob, so I meant Jason. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the long hair, beautiful American that we normally have on here. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, have you got a channel?
Yeah. So the lane that you had on recently, we're both from Total Oz Spurs.
Yeah. I'll get my lead moderator, Mr. Kaufman, to get your link in the chat, and we want everyone who hasn't subscribed to these 3 wonderful people, go over and subscribe to them, because share the love in the community. That's the thing. Exactly. I mean, if you don't subscribe to Tottenham on Tour, I will be amazed. Amazing content. Same with Mia, and obviously go over to Jason and go and subscribe to his stuff as well, and we can just share the love and the community. That's the main thing about it. What can't be both has? Sorry, have I missed something?
I think you're saying.
I'm assuming you're talking about chocolate bars, probably. Yeah. Still. Gosh. Many players you think Spurs will sign from Celtic? I think we just spoke about it just now, Irish Rebel, mate, and welcome to the channel. I believe you are a Celtic fan, mate. I'd like to ask you a question, actually, Irish Rebel. It'd be nice to get your take. As a Celtic fan, who do you think that Postecoglou would try to look at your team and go, we'd have them? For me, I like the likes of Ria Hatate and Matt O'Reilly. I think they would add a lot of quality to us. Guys, I think we spoke about it just a moment just then earlier, but let me know again what your thoughts are. I think, Mia, you said Jota, and a few.
But Percy, for me, sorry, I think what we've got to look at here is Postecoglou desperately wants his 2 coaches. But I was about to say Chelsea, but Celtic have dug their heels in. But apparently, and the Irish will be able to enlighten us more. Apparently, they're trying to get out of it, and I don't know if there's going to be a deal in there, whether it's coaches or players, that you have one or not the other kind of thing. And if I had the choice to choose his players or his coaches that he stood by, I want the coaches that he wants.
I think what you're talking about, the clause is the coaches. It's not necessarily the players.
But I'm saying they might have it now that if you get the coaches, you're not having any players, or
but the thing is, the players is slightly different because it's money talks, isn't it? If we go and put down
you're right.
£60 for 3 of their players, they're not going to say no, are they? So I think the coaches is a sense of more. They don't want him to go and poach all of the coaches, but I get your point. Players is slightly different because players are more assets than anything nowadays. Guys, Jason, also I didn't hear your one. What would you if you were going to pick out of the Celtic squad? Who would you like to look at and think would be the perfect fit for Tottenham?
Well, I don't watch too much Celtic. You can't get the Scottish League out here, but I'd go for the Rio Hatate. I think a real midfield engine is what we can use and input in Ange's system, and I think he was one of his best players in his last season. So I'd probably go for Rio if it was me. I think I haven't watched him too much, so I can't say anybody else. But what I've seen from Hatate, I would go for him.
Yeah, Irish Rebels come back with Hatate, Maeda, Kyogo, Jota, O'Reilly, and Carter Vickers. So Could we see the likes of a Carter Vickers coming back to Tottenham? A player that seemed to be, he used to be like, I used to call him our pre-season centre back because he seemed to just play pre-season, then he gets loaned out somewhere or doesn't feature in the first team. Could you see the likes of a Carter Vickers coming back and not just coming back, actually playing for Tottenham? Did anyone see that happening?
Oh, I think he's probably, from what I've seen, he's better than Dyer. Can't be any worse than Dyer. Sanchez, Tanganga. I mean, I still have a thing for Tanganga. We all have. He's a Tottenham through and through. But I mean, the way he played this season, I saw some highlights. As I said, I don't really watch too much of the Scottish League, and I think he's done really good, done well there. And we did point out earlier that under Ange, he's transformed his performances, and he's been probably the best player in their team all season. So I'd take him back, Carter Vickers.
Yeah, I'm at one because it's a weird one. Because some people have seen in the chat saying, no, what's the level of Celtic in the Premier League? I go back and sit and go, is it the player or is it the player? Is it the coach or is it the team? I try and work out what percentage is it. Is it because they're at Celtic and Celtic win the league every year? Or is it that it's the manager that has somehow managed to coach this player good enough to be in that league and that level? And could he coach Carter Vickers to be at Tottenham where the aspirations are a lot higher? And I'm not saying the aspirations are a lot higher because they're expected to win the league at Celtic, but at Tottenham, the league is much harder, if that makes sense.
I think you've got to add into this, and I'll use Harry Redknapp as a point. Jermaine Defoe, Peter Crouch, Nico Cranchell, everywhere he went, he took them. Everywhere they went, they did the job. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Carter Vickers is at that level, but there are certain managers that just strike up a bond with a player and that player gets the best out of him. Would I have thought Carter Vickers was one to come back when we sold him? Not in a million years. You've got to remember, this is a guy, whilst we had him, that guy earned over £7 million in wages.
It's incredible when you think about it.
£7 million in wages whilst he was at Tottenham going out on loan everywhere. So it just shows the money we were wasting on keeping players or not using them.
Loaned out week in, week out.
If Postecoglou comes back and says, my man at the heartbeat of my defence next to Romero is Carter Vickers, then I want Carter Vickers back. Then it's like, there you go, bring him back. Let's see what he can do. And you know what? When he comes in this time, he'll know he's got the confidence of his manager, the belief in his manager. He'll know how he trains. He did bring back Cabal, and Cabal got into the Champions League, and he was good for the first part, and then obviously injuries caught up with him and everything. I'll keep saying this. If Ange Postecoglou comes out and says, I want Cameron Carter Vickers, then Tottenham Hotspur need to go out and get Cameron Carter Vickers. Do I see it? No, I'm actually, if the Irish Rebels doing it, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this O'Reilly. A lot of people talk about how good this O'Reilly is. So I've heard a lot. That's the one. If we could get one, like I said, I haven't watched a second of Scottish football, but I've heard when it comes to this, I think this Riley is the one. If I had to choose one, I'd choose. But if Cameron Carter Vickers is wanted by Ange, back you come.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I totally agree with you. Mia, what are your thoughts about if Carter Vickers come back in? Just before you answer that, Bryce played. Love this. Brian, mate, looking distinguished these days with his added pepper in his beard. My God.
I love the salt and pepper, mate. I love the salt and pepper. Although now the sun's coming out, I may be shaving it, because if I shave and then I've got a bit of a tan and then this part is not tan, no, I can't deal with that. My vanity kicks in.
Also, guys, I'll put the link in the chat. We've got over 50 likes. I'll put the link in the chat. Now, can we push to 100 likes again? Let's keep pushing for the 100 likes. There's 95 of you in here watching, but 51 likes. Can we push to the 100? That would be amazing. I'll put the link in, though, guys. If you want to come in, I will try not to have loads of people on at the same time, because otherwise it just becomes chaos and all absolute organised chaos, like it became yesterday when my mate Mr. Box Office came in and made himself known. We love you, Alex. We love you. Samir, what are your thoughts on the likes of Carter Vickers maybe coming back if Postecoglou wants him to come back?
Do you know what? I'm on board with what Brian says. At the end of the day, whoever he wants, I want. So if Postecoglou wants him, then so be it. Because there's something about a bond of a manager and a player when a player wants to just run through brick walls for him. And I think that actually does mean a lot. And if that's what Postecoglou wants, then so be it. That's how I feel right now. I feel like whatever he wants, give it to him. Give it to the Greek, is what I say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we have to now. We have to start. We need to just start. When we say back, and I say when we say back a manager, I don't just mean blindly back a manager. But what we have to do is we have to support the manager in his concepts and what he wants. So if the manager goes, do you know what? This defender's the one that we need, and he's not. And when I say back, I don't mean going, oh, we're going to go and back him with an £80 million centre off, because I'm not delusional. I know we're not going to be doing that. But Carter Vickers is realistic to bring back. I think we could do that easily. I just want, for me, when we say back a manager, I don't necessarily, it's not about just giving him loads of money and just splashing it. It's about getting the right player in for whatever the price is. If a player's £1 million, to hit me out. If he goes, do you know what, I want this player, and they go, he's only £1 million, don't care. As a fan base, we shouldn't care about price tags. We should care about the right player coming in at the right thing. Yeah. I think that's the way for me.
Absolutely.
And I've said that all along.
Yeah, me too. I've always said that just because you spend big money doesn't mean that you're going to get the quality. It's all about the quality that Postecoglou wants. And none of us should judge how much that player is worth. We should judge that Postecoglou wants him, which means that's good because that's who he wants. That's what's the most important part.
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely, of course. Yeah, go over it, by the way. Just go over and subscribe to the coffee company, by the way. If you haven't, why haven't you? This guy should be on over 500 subs. How he's not is an absolute disgrace. Go and sub to Ben because he's got.
Let me just put a bracket on that as well with Ben, because people know me and Ben are like brothers. If you love coffee, trust me when I say it is the best coffee you will ever try. He sells it. He can send it worldwide. That's not an issue. We even have our own coffee. He's done with us, Tottenham on Tour coffee, which is banging. And trust me, one of his espressos, when they say an apple away keeps the dentist at bay or whatever, believe me, when you have one of his coffees, you're flying, mate. You're flying. It does the job. So don't forget that he's got amazing coffees available as well.
Yeah, of course, and a massive friend of this channel here. And Ben, you're welcome on at any time onto this channel. You're a key, and you are the lead man that moderates my chat, which I love you for. You're ungenuinely hand on heart. One of the nicest guys in the community.
So what Ben is, he's the king of the coffee and the king of the mods.
Exactly, he is. He is head honcho when it comes to the chat, and he's also head
like
honcho.
El Chapo. He's like El Chapo with that spanner.
El Modo. We start calling him El Modo. Of course, yeah. But genuinely, go over there and subscribe to Ben's channel, because genuinely, that man deserves to be on over 500 easy. That man does amazing stuff. And as I said, one of the nice guys in the community. Genuinely, nice guy to everybody. Much love. Big up Irish Rebel, mate. Well, thank you very much for coming in, because it's quite nice having Celtic fans in here helping us talk through the new manager. Wee story on Kyogo. He scored against Big Ange in the Japanese league all the time. First signing when he took over at Celtic. The rest is history. This is exactly the sort of signing I want Tottenham to get. Unknown players that you go, do you know what? Handpicked from these leagues that aren't fashionable leagues. Does that make sense? Not these massively fashionable leagues, but we go and bring these players. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this.
Well, the perfect example to look for this, and all right, it's a completely different country, but the optics are the same. Just look at Arsene Wenger when he came to Arsenal. Had anyone heard of Patrick Vieira? Had anyone heard of Emmanuel Petit? Had anyone heard of Nicolas Anelka? Had anyone heard of any of these? Christopher Ware? But no, Arsenal went in. Vieira was 3.5 million from AC Milan.
Yeah,
and look for me, I put Vieira above Keane. I think Vieira was fucking awesome, as much as I hate to say. Look what he did with Thierry Henry, 11 or 14 million, whatever he bought from Juventus. This guy knows the Australian market and the Far East market better than anyone in world football right now who's managing. So we've seen what he's done at Celtic in unearthing gems. Mm-hmm. If this guy says, I have found the player and he is available, we have to, like you said, rather than going spending 18, 19, 20, 25, 30 million on a player, if he can find one that he's identified, let's say for creativity, let's just say he's got a Japanese or Chinese or Australian talent that's going to be like 7.5 million or whatever figure, go and do it. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's proven it at Celtic. We've got an untapped market and we have to listen to him. These other coaches come in and buy from countries that they know well of. We need to start listening to the manager.
Yeah. No, absolutely bang on. Paddy's here. This is why Spurs fans need to relax when we sign players. Give them the chance. Just because they're not worth over 100 million, it doesn't mean they're bad.
Correct.
Exactly this. And we need to, as a fan base, just understand and be a bit more relaxed when we do talk about it, guys. We have got a question, though, quickly, before we do. We've got a few questions, actually. Let's just sort of fly through them. Big up Danny, mate. Another friend of the channel. Hope you're well, mate. Region, do we give him a chance again to fight with
left back for a Dogi? I think he meant left back.
Oh,
right
yeah.
back.
So, yeah, left back. I'm assuming left back with a Doji. Sorry. What are your thoughts? Do you keep Region or do you get rid of him?
I mean, I thought we should have kept him. I honestly think he would have been better for us and for this year with Cesc and Perisic. So I don't think Region had a bad season with this. I just think that defensively he's probably better than Cesc and Perisic, and going forward he seemed to get in forward and knew how to get into the box a lot more than Cesc does. So I mean, if Ange wants him and Ange sees something in him, then I'd keep him.
I think that's a great point. Yeah, Brian, jump in, mate.
No, so I was about to say, listen, when I knew we were playing the back five, I think, and I still do, that Sessegnon is the better wing back than Reguilon is in a back five, but Sessegnon's made a Weetabix. If we'd been playing a back four, I would have said kept Reguilon and get rid of Cesc. Because Reguilon is a left back, like you saw when he was putting his best performances with Mourinho. Why? In a back four. So if we're playing a back four, I would like the fight to be exactly what Danny's just said here, Reguilon and Udogie. But if we're not playing a back five, Sessegnon's just got to go now because of his injuries. And I think Perisic is off.
Terrible.
So if there's a back four last season, I would have wanted Reguilon to stay. But back five, I would have said Cesc, and we're going back four, so it's Reguilon.
Oh, yeah, no. Mia, what are your thoughts on Region?
Yeah, agreed. I feel like that in a back four, he's not great. He goes forward, but his end product's a bit not very like it's not great. But I feel like in the back four, I feel like he'll be fine to fight for that place and get rid of, because he's going to be the one that's going to be the backup. Everyone else can go who's in that position, like you say, Cesc, Perisic. They both need to go. So we need someone, and I feel like the potential in Reguilon for that position is better than either of them. So definitely.
Yep. No, that's fair. Welcome, Ty, by the way, as well, mate. Hope you're well.
It's fine, mate.
Jason, Ty, what are your thoughts on Reguilon? Do we keep a hold of him, or what are your thoughts, guys?
I don't know. I'm a bit torn on Reguilon. Like, I agree with what people are saying. I do see that there is a player in there somewhere. I just worry. I think he's quite an emotional guy. He reminds me of like the Arsenal players, the way that when he gets to those big moments, he's quite emotional. He starts doing rash things. I don't think he has full control of himself. Maybe that's because he's still so young. So I will give him benefit of that. I liked him when he first came in, but I just like when he goes forward, it's like he does have a cross in him. He just doesn't know how to do it. His decision making is really bad. And if you give him chances in the final third and he has to think about what he's doing, he pretty much fouls every time.
Yeah. And Jason, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree with everyone. I think Reggie, there is a player there, but he has some faults that we do need to address. But I would take him and Udogie over Perisic and Cesc any day in that left back role. And Ange plays a 4-3-3, so I think he's the best guy of the bunch. We haven't seen Udogie yet, but yeah, I think Reggie, if he works on a few things, I think he could be a player for us.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is some breaking news that's just come out, and Mr. Kaufman broke it. I was waiting for you guys to say your thing. If you guys watch Sky Sports, we have some breaking news. Peter Drury is joining the Sky Sports commentator to replace Martin Tyler, who's retired. This is massive, by the way. I know it's not a football player and stuff, but I love Peter Drury. That's why I necessarily watch him on other streams when I do watch football, because just to listen to Peter Drury, he is the voice of football, isn't he?
Yeah.
That, for me, I think that is a massive coup for Sky Sports to get Peter Drury along. What do you guys think?
He does my head in.
What, Peter Drury?
Yeah, he does my head
Are
in.
you joking? Oh, Brian, this is the one time we're going to have a proper argument here. I think
No, I
Peter
don't.
Drury is the best football commentator out there.
No, I think it's the guy from BT. Fletcher.
Fletcher. 100%.
I love
No.
him. And you know what? One of the reasons I've loved him, if you go back and watch BT, Sport back when Harry Kane scored that goal against the Filth, that curler, and just listen to the commentary from that, like with Gascoigne, is he going to have a crack? He is, Fletcher, and even the Champions League against Ajax.
Yeah.
Fletcher is the one. Peter, he's the one, mate. Fletcher is the one.
He makes the Champions League exciting. Whenever
He
he's,
does,
whenever
don't
he's
he? He does, man. He does, and he comes across to me. He comes across to me as like the man of the people. He's like the people. Like you have the people's champion with my man, The Rock. For me, he's like the people's commentator. I love Fletcher. I fucking love him.
Oh, no. That was just a quick one. That just saw that news that Drury's going to Sky Sports and replacing Martin Tyler, who's left.
Look how quickly they got that transfer done, eh? Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah. That's how you see. Sky Sports are doing business quicker than Tottenham, don't they? That's brilliant, isn't it? Big up DJ, mate. Oh no, wait, shoot. I'm going to pin yours. I'll do yours next, actually, because I feel I do it in order. Big up Jessica. Question: if we're trying to going to try for Laporte, why not Cancelo from City? Jessica, I'm not sure. First time seeing your stream, so welcome, by the way. But if you think we're going to get Laporte and Cancelo, I would prefer not to speak, because I don't think we're anywhere near that level. I think Laporte's going to go to one of two teams. I think he'll go to either PSG to replace Ramos, or he'll go to Newcastle, be alongside Botman.
He'll probably go to a club that looks like
they're
going in the right direction.
Go back to Spain. What's that, sorry?
I said they will go to clubs that look like they're going in the right direction. My problem with taking City
we're
players,
going that way. Newcastle and teams are going like that. Newcastle are like that at the moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going down, so we've got to be a bit more reasonable.
and we've got Andy as well.
Does anyone genuinely think we're going to get a Laporte?
No, he wouldn't want to come.
Agreed.
I feel so strongly I could put another tattoo bet on, but I know how those ones end up.
Oh yeah, no, I would happily. I would put a bet on now. I'll put €100 to the charity for my charity stream on the line that we won't sign him. If we sign him by the time I do my charity stream, I'll put 100 into the charity pot immediately. There we go. Live on stream. We'll get that clipped definitely.
I was hoping for a tattoo. I was thinking if we get him, we have to get a Laporte tattoo.
I would rather put the money that I would have put in that tattoo into the charity for my uncle's charity stream that I do.
You want to be careful. They might get Scott Carson in. That's the only realistic option. Bring him in for the mentality.
No, that's for me, over tattoo, I want money for the charity. And obviously, if you guys in the chat know and stuff, once we hit the 1,000, so I'm pushing to get to 1,000 as quick as I can, because we'll be doing, as soon as we get to the big celebration that you've made 1,000 and we get monetized, the charity streams go in and everyone is welcome. You guys on the panel, you guys in the chat, I'd love you guys to join in. We will be going 24 hours for the hospice that looked after my uncle for months whilst he was not very well. Sadly passed away. He was a massive Arsenal fan, and I tell you what, he was in his 80s, and I tell you what, the stories he told me, incredible. I could sit with him for hours just talking football and proper football talk. None of this, and no disrespect to people in this sort of era, none of this modern day football talk. I'm talking old school football talk, where it was all about what players were like back in the 60s and 70s and stuff, like old school. It was massive. So obviously, when we get to the 1,000 mark, there will be a massive announcement of the 24-hour stream. And listen, to raise money, I might even wear an Arsenal shirt to raise money.
Don't ever say that.
Listen, if I raise enough money, I will. Listen, that's how much I mean. That's how much this charity means to me. Genuinely.
Joe, what? A lot of charities mean a lot to me. However, Joe, if I ever touch my skin, I think my skin would burn. It would actually burn to touch. It makes.
I do agree. I do agree with the sentiment in what you're saying. However, what I will say, the charity and what they've done for my uncle means more than anything.
No, I appreciate that.
And I think, listen, they made it, and listen, and I think when what people went through and stuff, I think people don't realise it's not just what was going through with him and the horrible disease that he was suffering with. Was more the family support for me. I mean, they were brilliant for my family. And listen, it's hard enough. I wasn't in the UK. I don't live in the UK. I live over in Spain, so it was even harder for me. I couldn't go over and stuff. And yeah, listen, they did amazing job, and they deserve all the shouts for that.
Those hospices are fantastic. I've had actually someone who was young, sorry, going off on a tangent, but someone who was quite young when she passed away, and they always looked after the family. They were really, really good. So you can't, honestly, people say about the NHS stuff, but they do a fantastic job with the side of it with the families. They do a fantastic job.
And I agree. And this is also the point. It's gotten really serious. I didn't mean to. This was meant to be a real talk. No. But it's good. It's good to talk about it. And the thing is what I'll say. It's all good donating to really high-profile charities. And listen, I urge people to try and give us whatever you can, because life is tough. And listen, I'm not one of these that will expect anything from anybody. If you can't, I totally get it. But I urge people to try. But when we do talk about charity, it's the little charities that sometimes do miss out, because we like to donate to big charities. That's great, and I urge people to. But sometimes the smaller ones don't get in. That's kind of where I wanted this to go to. Because more because that had such a personal effect on me. But listen, we're going to carry on and talk football now, because I'm not here sitting there begging guys and stuff like that. That's not how we work. But when it all gets set up, it'll all be set up. The Just Giving page actually has been set up. I'm not going to put it public until we start getting a few things. So obviously I'll like you guys all on. And when one Tottenham Tour member, another one just wants to join in. He's come from his modding duties to coming on to the stream. How are you doing, Benjamin?
All the way from Orlando, Florida.
Absolutely, in my Canada pajamas. It's, but yeah, we're doing great. We've just had our morning coffee, so we are having our morning routine, and it's now time to have some fun.
Of course, it's always good to have a bit of fun on here. And listen, we're going to be going for another 45 minutes or so and stuff. So. I urge guys, we're at 60 likes. Let's get that to 100. Come on, there's 104 of you in here, but we've got 60 likes. Come on, smash the like button. It does the world for me, and not just me. Do it for all content creators, because it means the world. It means that you're enjoying what we're doing and stuff. And listen, it pushes out for us to do more stuff. Definitely helps us massively. Ben, lots has happened over the last couple of days. Well, over the last 24 hours. Kulusevski's joined.
Yeah.
We spoke about this yesterday, because you were on yesterday. We spoke about this. Are you excited for the fact that we now got Kulusevski confirmed, done over the line?
This was always going to happen. I think there was always an obligation to buy had we finished in the Champions League. It was always going to happen, and he loves being at the club. So it's nice to see that he's joined. I think there is a player there. But again, in the words of the man above me, defenders. We need defenders. And that's the most important thing for me. It's a good deal. We do have to give credit here as our buddy Nick, Barry, all the names he's got. It's a good deal getting 5 million off, because that's 5 million we can spend somewhere else. But
Raya.
Yeah, Raya, exactly. 40 million, just fucking get it done. Just get it done now. There are key positions that we have to fill, and others around us are now deciding they might want to do some other things. Manchester United are looking to sell David De Gea, or he's looking to leave and get a payday. So Raya becomes very much an option for them, because he's a quality keeper that plays in the way that Erik ten Hag moves. We need to start saying, this is our number one target. Forget about the money. Get them in. If they are that important to the way our new coach plays football, get them in. So Maddison and Raya should be Tottenham players by Wednesday. That's how.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
This
Agreed.
is urgent. This is the start. Because if we don't get a Maddison in, we don't get a Raya in.
I think Raya's got to be done in the next few days, in my opinion. I don't know how we're still not done.
Well, we know this coach plays with a central number 8 that's a bit more forward than his other 2 centre midfielders. That is perfect for Maddison because he links play. Get them in and think about the money later.
Hang on. I totally agree with you on that.
Managers.
Don't you see it as like part of the problem with Tottenham, the fact that we're announcing a player that's been with us for the last 18 months as a signing when we know what we need? Like if we move like a big club, we just wrap it up. Yeah, there's always like a little announcement because we made it permanent. It's newsworthy of the smallest degree, but we've got so much work that we need to do. And the fact that they're making a deal out of it, making a meal out of it, it's just like Levy, the PA stuff is just making it look like things are happening. It's like the guy's been with us for the last 18 months. We kind of knew he was going to sign. There was probably a little bit of doubt that he wouldn't, but that's only because it's Tottenham. Anyone else, it's just an absolute guarantee. You know he's signing at the end of the season. They go and they get their goalkeeper and their centre-backs. What does Tottenham do? We start messing around and then we announce a player who's literally been wearing our shirt for the last 18 months. It makes Sky Sports, it comes in the transfer news. It's like a lie. I don't need to see that. I want to see the actual players that we need for next season. Kulu's been with us now for nearly 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, I love this dude. Ty, I love you, buddy. This guy's on fire.
Speaks facts, man. No, you're bang on. I just want to say, Jose, welcome, mate. Welcome on. Hope you're well, mate. You're always on here. Love having you on. Just want to sort of get your thoughts also on this. What are your thoughts on the fact that we need to get these players over the line now? I think David Ryan more than anything right now, we need to get done. We're hearing that the personal terms were done last Friday, over a week ago now.
Yeah.
Get this done. Don't you think? We just get it over the line, whatever we have to, because we need to start this ball rolling.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to come as well.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, go carry on, whoever. Sorry.
So I said, like I said yesterday, I commented yesterday and I said that today's the 18th of June. 30th of June is 13 days away or 12 days away or whatever. If we can do anything before the 30th of June, it'd be a bonus. But I can't really see any action starting until the 1st of July when the 2 Australians start. But when the 1st of July comes, my expectation is that we motor along because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a load of players we've got to get out of the club as well. We just need to motor on and get it done.
I agree with you, bro, but do you see anything historically that gives you the impression that Tottenham are going to do that?
I don't know whether have we ever had 11 players out on loan? Have we ever had a squad to the size that we've got now?
That's part and parcel with the disaster that's happening at the club right now. We shouldn't be in that position.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree totally, but
Nottingham Forest are in that position. It's just like
I agree totally.
Respect to Nottingham Forest, obviously, but like we should be in the position that we're in right now. And the fact, I agree with what you're saying. Obviously, we're all Tottenham fans, we're all together, but it's the fact that we're having these conversations saying we need to do this. If this happens, if it was Man City, they would have gone out and they would have already got the players that they needed. That first season that they come in, had the issues with the fullbacks, managed to get fourth. What did he do in the summer straight away? He went out and just bought fullbacks, the ones that he needed straight away. Like when Liverpool needed to get their goalkeeper and centre-back, they just go and get it. With Tottenham, it's always, we know what we need, but there might be another deal. And we play until the last minute and then someone else comes in and hijacks the deal. We could have had Luis Diaz. If we moved like a big club, we could have had Luis Diaz in the winter transfer. We could have had him if we moved like a big club, but we just don't. Pochettino cried out for it when we lost 4-2 to Chelsea. And since then, it's like Levy's done everything he can to say F you to Poch and to all the Spurs fans. And just, I don't even know what he's doing. He just frustrates me.
Yeah, no, I agree. JF, is Levy right to this waiting tactics players on 1 year left on the contract? Do you know what? I'm gonna caveat. I can understand why, but here's my big but here. My big but. That I think getting the likes of Raya over the line relatively quickly, we know what the asking price is. I think you could easily make a deal to get that for 35 million quid. I think getting him in for pre-season is more important than saving 10 million quid, if people get one point here. Yeah. I think get him over the line. he needs to be walking in on day one of pre-season with the rest of the players, not when the pre-season's already started. Do people agree with me on what I say there? Because I think that is such an important thing.
Yeah, 100%.
The players there that walking in for pre-season need to know he's the goalkeeper. They need to be working with him. They need to know that there is a change of guard. They will need to. It's almost a bit of You see when Lloris plays, the players are worried because they know he's not good with his feet. If they know David Raya is the goalkeeper and he's got this reputation that he's good with his feet and he's good with putting a ball forward, they're going to feel relaxed. They're going to feel like, all right, this is a new change. And that's good. We need to start acting like there is a change coming in. And David Raya needs to come in now anyway because we need a new goalkeeper. Lloris doesn't want to be there anymore. And even though he's been a great servant for the club, as soon as a player wants to leave, you get him out the door because he will be a toxic influence on that dressing room because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
He wants his payday. Get rid of it.
It will give us a different look as well. Like we'll actually see a goalkeeper when we pass back to retain possession of the ball.
Look, Lloris is captain. We don't want our captain being a toxic influence. Get that armband off of him and get him out the door.
Agreed. I think that's such a good point as well. I think we need to get to a point where we are saying you're right. The club need to come out and make a statement that Harry Kane will be the captain next year if he's staying. But the problem, what I think Spurs have now is with Harry Kane, and it's another caveat, is that they don't know if they can't make that announcement because they don't know if Harry Kane's staying. We could lose our captain and vice captain in one window here, potentially. So,
I'm almost fine with that.
I am as well. If we get the right money for Harry Kane, I've got no issues. Agreed.
That's what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do every couple of years. He used to always change his captain. 1 year, Everett would be captain. Next season, Rio Ferdinand would be the captain. Roy Keane was the captain for many years. He changed his. You have to keep the leadership guys at the top because realistically, leaders leave, but there's only one leader in that dressing room, and that's the manager. He is the actual leader. You need a leader on the pitch, but that is more important, guy. So if we change even if we give it to someone else, let's hypothetical. We're not getting him because again, Brian's going to get a tattoo. Let's say we spend £70 million on Emerick Laporte, and Laporte comes to Tottenham. Hypothetical, it's not coming.
Yeah,
I immediately make him captain. I say,
that's a shout. Agreed.
I say, Harry, you've been an absolutely amazing vice captain, but Laporte has been. I'd bring him in and make him captain immediately because he's just won the treble. Although he didn't play every single game, he's been in a dressing room that's won the treble. That's a guy that knows how to win, and he's been quality.
Agreed. Here's a question though, guys. Hypothetically, let's just say this: Lloris goes in this window, and Kane stays. Do you make Harry Kane captain? And I'll caveat this, and this is a genuine question. If we know Harry Kane is leaving in 12 months, should he be captain? On a serious question, should he be the one that leads the team out, knowing that he's going to be 1 year left? As I always have to caveat this all the time. However much I love Harry Kane, should he be the captain next year if he's leaving in the end of the next season?
Yes, he should.
Leave that to the manager to decide. The manager decides.
I agree completely with what Ben said, but I can't see. He's the captain of the country. He's the record goal scorer of both. He is every. Do you know what? If he doesn't have the captaincy next season, if Lloris goes, for me, it's a clear indication he's off. Exactly what you're saying. That he's off at the end of the season.
But is that not the point though, Brian? That's what we're saying. Like, if he isn't going to commit, and I'm not. Right, okay. People think I've got an agenda against Kane, but I really don't. But my point would be, honestly, people have to have caveats because otherwise I'm going to get clipped. But what I would say is he's a captain by example. I just don't think he's got that about him to be a captain by armband, if that makes sense. I know he does it for England, but personally, I feel like we need a stronger leader who will have the vocal ability as well. And that's where my concern would be with being Kane as captain.
Your striker should never be a captain. It should never have the striker as a captain. There are two positions that should never be captain, And because we're Tottenham, we both our captains are the players you don't want as captain, which is the goalkeeper and the striker. The captain should either be your centre back or your centre midfielder, because they're in the action. They see everything. I mean, I've been lucky enough to speak with Steve Perryman about this, our greatest ever captain, long reigning captain. He liked being the captain as a centre back because he could see the entire game. If you're Harry Kane or Lloris, you can't see any of it. You're so far from the game. You cannot even influence it because you're not there. We need our centre back or a centre midfielder as a captain. But unfortunately, Bentancur, who I would say should be captain because he's our metronome. He's the guy. When he's in the team, our team actually looks functional, even though it isn't. Or we bring in a new centre back. Højbjerg, I would I would sell Højbjerg as quickly.
Oh no, 100%. I don't see how that man starts.
He does exactly what Dyer does. I like Højbjerg. He does what Dyer does. He screams at people, and when he makes a mistake, he blames everyone else. It's exactly what Eric Dyer does. I'd like Højbjerg, but we can do so much better.
Yeah, we just
but let's face it. When we're talking about Højbjerg, there's a lot more deadwood that needs to get out way before him. He is not. He's probably the one that could get the most money out of. In all honesty,
that's
of all the players to get rid of, he's probably the most financial, beneficial one to sell. But getting Deadwood out, the one thing that man is not is Deadwood. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I'm one of his biggest fans, but I was not impressed with this second half of the season. To be honest, I really wasn't.
Do you know what? Højbjerg is such. Do you know what? It's a great topic. Actually, I'm going to bring this one up because I'm being very critical of him, and people know I'm not a massive fan of him. But for me, he's so Marmite in this fan base. I don't think there's anyone. There's not many people that are in the middle. You either massively love him and he should be captain, or get out. I don't want you at this football club. For me, I find it with him that he's so. As I said, it is so like polarizing.
He runs for treacle. He runs for treacle.
I genuinely don't know what he does at this club that's great. I think he's a jack of all trades, master of none. I don't know what he does.
He yells at people. That's all he does.
He's polarizing because his performances are bipolar. Like I've seen Højbjerg. Some days, like what I like about Højbjerg is he reminds me of like if you was a fan watching the game, what would you do if you went on the pitch? You'd get stick a foot and you'd work hard. Yeah. You see Højbjerg have those sort of games. But then I see him not work hard at all games. Well, I think the problem with Højbjerg, he knows how to sharpen the big games against better opponents when we're going to be off the ball and we're having to do more defensive work. I think he shines them. But when we play a lesser opponent and we have to dominate possession and like be smart of our decision making, I think that's where he comes unstuck. I just don't think he knows how to be in a dominant team.
He can't move about a pitch and he's got no technical ability. No. Again, he's someone that points and shouts at people. That's what
Ben Davies.
That's all he does.
It's the same thing with Ben Davies. Ben Davies off the ball.
I will tell you what Højbjerg is good at. Højbjerg is amazing. He's probably one of the best players in the world at doing one thing, turning over the ball and passing it to someone that's better with the ball. We do not need that. We need someone that's going to get the ball and pass the ball, especially now we've gone to a possession-based manager. Under a Mourinho, brilliant. Possibly under a Conte, but Conte wants his person intercepting the ball to also be good with the ball because he only plays two in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
This is a player that's surplus to just like Bentancur was surplus to requirements under Allegri because Allegri does not play with a midfield metronome anymore because he's changed that. Højbjerg, we do not need an interceptor in our team. We need someone that's going to get on the ball with his foot and pass the ball about. That's what we need. We need a Dembele. We need a not. Everyone could do with this play. We need a Pirlo. Someone's going to get on the ball and dictate.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's because he hasn't got that quickness of thought. He isn't sharp like when it comes to passing to see what's it like to see the best pass. He just does he passes it to someone's better, but it's very safe. He doesn't often do like that quick thinking where he's quick with his thought to move forward. That's the problem with Højbjerg. That's the issue, I believe. And I don't think it's too Ange at all.
I think what you've got to look at as well is what Irish Rob was saying. There's a player I want over Maddison, and he made his England debut on Friday, and his name is Eze.
Yeah.
It's 80
I
million,
want
though.
Eze over Maddison every day of the week.
I love Eze. I
It's
just, do you know what? Eze, sorry, I don't mean to jump in there, sorry, yeah, but I think the only thing with Eze is, and I think me and Ben discussed this actually, and I think me and you on as well. We spoke about this as well. We were talking about Eze in the sense I would love Eze. I think he's an amazing player, but are we really going to go and put 70 to 80 million pound on a
I don't think
player?
he's worth that much, though. I really don't think.
That's how much Palace will want. I don't
That's
think.
how much
I don't
Yeah,
think
but
they
this,
will.
well, this is the thing where people are missing out right now. You got to remember, we've got a lot of deadwood we're trying to ship out.
Yeah.
You're telling me that Crystal Palace wouldn't want a Davinson Sanchez, maybe a Harry Winks,
I don't
whoever,
They,
or
I
even
don't
if you
have any
give a
of
couple
them.
of our youth products for a season, what you got to. I can't remember the last time. Seriously, I don't know if anyone else here can mention it, where we went and bought a player and took one of the star players out of their first team. We've waited. Oh, that player, they don't want him anymore. He's not good enough. Oh, let's go get him. Clement Longley, even Perrott, all these other players you want to mention. He's Basuma. He's Basuma would be qualify as one. But go back and think about the last time we took a proper first team route and said, right, we want that guy. We're going to do it. We don't do it anymore. We go for the ones that are cheap, or we go for the ones that are 1 year on their contract, or the players that aren't good enough anymore. Like this guy, a couple of people mentioned this Roma defender. He's now available. Yeah, he's now available because they got Ndika in and have said you're no longer surplus to your. So do you know what? Tottenham start circling. Why not go get Ndika in the first place, who you wanted?
We should have got him.
You could argue, Brian, that. Oh, sorry. I was just saying you could argue, Brian, that Romero was a good player that we obviously did go and get.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. You got Romero. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's. But you go back.
No, it's not many. No, it's not many.
It's not many, and we need to be that football team that go. Do you know what? And you got to remember, we're in this mess because we've tried to do it this way. And as they say, buy cheap, buy twice. Look what we did with Carl Walker. Look at the right backs we've had to go through, and money we have spent. We've spent over double what we did to get Carl Walker out the door to try and find the replacement for Carl Walker. We've got to stop doing this. Don't get me wrong. There are young. Like we were just talking before.
We'll replace Carl Walker with Carl Walker. That's
we were talking about. What was I going to say? Sorry, I was just going to finish with. We're talking about if Postecoglou knows the Asian market, the Australian market. Yeah, go get some players. Go get that. That's brilliant. But if a player comes up that a manager wants, and I'm not just talking Postecoglou, there's sometimes where you have to be ruthless and go, do you know what? We haven't had creativity since Ericsson. We need a young player to come in, and we need to tie this guy. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think Maddison, who is a wonderful player, I think Eze has got more skill than him, more power than him, more pace than him, can take direct free kicks, has got the trickery. I think Eze is. I would take Eze every single time over Maddison, and you have to pay to get these players to do it.
I agree with you, Brian, but I think we need a more central player. I think if you're going to play, because Eze plays off the right, I would have both of them in. If I'm playing fantasy football here, but I'd have both of them because those would be your players for the next 5-6 years. So I would happily spend 140, 150 million on the both of them.
But this is the point here. This is what I'm trying to get at. And I actually agree with what you guys are saying. I actually do agree. I would love the likes of an Eze at Tottenham. But right now, would I rather spend load of money on an Eze or the right money on a defender? At the moment, I think we're crying out for a centre-half. But my point being here is, I get Brian, I actually do agree with a lot of what you're saying. I totally agree.
Bumper K, the third comment from the end has wrapped it up perfectly. They're the two. They're the two. If we're going to get our midfield,
agreed. Yeah,
they're the two right off the bat.
Do you know what I would say though, Perch, is if we get rid of Lo Celso and we get rid of Højbjerg, that's money towards that we could try and get someone better like an Eze.
But we need to. But what we're doing, we're basically spending money we haven't got yet. Is my point. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I agree. We could offload the likes of Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and get money. But we're buying players with money that we haven't got with them at the moment. And before I say we have got money, by the way, but what we have to do now, and this is where I said about the Eze one, I like Eze. I think he would be the perfect player. But this is the problem. I feel like and I'm going to say this now, I feel like we've missed the boat on it in the sense that we should have got him before we went to Crystal Palace. We should have got him when he was at QPR.
Yeah.
Or Elise. I like both of them, by the way. I think Eze and Elise would be brilliant.
Even better, we should have made Chris Ramsey, the guy that signed him at QPR, our talent director, because he did a fantastic.
Absolutely bang on.
We had him and we let him go and we replaced him. That's ruined our youth system. Hence why we've sacked him.
I know. No, I agree.
Ramsey, we would have signed an Eze.
But this is where I get and this is exactly where I get frustrated. And I wanted just to go back on something you said, Brian, as well, about Ndicka, when you said, why didn't we get him in? We did. We offered a deal to him and he turned us down. He wanted to go to Roma. Let's be frank and honest right now.
No, we offered him a deal in January. We offered him a deal in January.
We offered him in January and he didn't want to, but he didn't want to entertain it then. And so I heard
Perchy, let me throw that back at you, Perchy. Did he turn it down because he didn't want to join us, or he turned it down because he was a free transfer and the contract weren't the money he wanted?
But whatever way we want to spin it, whatever. We may not have offered the right deal, and he or hear me out. He went, do you know what? I'm just going to wait until right now. And I always say he's gone. Do you know what? I'll wait it out. And listen, do I blame him? No. If I was any player right now, and there'll be Tottenham, when we always talk about, and I always call it on my channel, I say it how it is in the sense, we as a fan base need to realise where Tottenham are in the food chain. Mm-hmm. We're not up here going, we're not players' first opportunity. We're down here going, do you know what? I don't want to go here. I don't want to go here. I don't want to get, then I'll consider Tottenham.
But you know, if
in that gap, there's normally the likes of Roma, Napoli. Then when you start talking about the big boys, the Real Madrid, the Barcelonas, the Man United, the Man City. But
you know what? I just looked up how much Eze last year in November is worth 30 mil. So Crystal Palace are a team that are below us in that pecking order, if you think about it. So to get an Eze, I don't think actually would be that not difficult. Maybe Palace won't want to sell him, but if we offer a decent amount, I'd rather get him because we're going to spend big on Maddison, but we're going to spend a bit on Maddison. Why not go for an Eze? Because I feel like an Eze would come to us because that is a step up for him.
I agree. I think he would come to us, but Palace won't sell. The thing is now, and what people have missed at the moment of late, and in the last probably decade, it's shifted where over 10 years ago you could go and pick up players from the likes of Palace, Fulham, Brentford, all these lot 10 years ago. Brentford weren't in there, but you get the gist of it. Mid-table teams, you could go and hand-pick who you want. Man United were absolutely brilliant of it in the early noughties. They just go, do you know what? We'll have Van der Sar from Fulham. Do you know what I mean? They used to just hand-pick who they wanted. It's not as easy as it is now because there's so much money in the Premier League. And because there's so much money in the Premier League, who remembers a few years ago when Everton rejected £100 million for Richarlison on deadline day?
Yeah.
When you think back at that and you go, that says everything right now. Yeah. Because teams in the Premier League, doesn't matter where you finish, have money now. So the likes of Palace can reject a bid for 60 million quid from Spurs for Eze. And they'll go, well, no, we want £90 million from him.
I mean, there is Wolsey is Turkey voting for Christmas. He said Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves would be perfect.
I'd love a Ruben Neves. I'd love him. I think he's an absolute player.
If people think Højbjerg is a good player, Ruben Neves is miles ahead. He's miles ahead of Højbjerg. And he wouldn't be competitive. I think he's 30 now, Ruben Neves, right? I think he's 30. He's a much better player. Dictates play, good in the tackle. He's a proper player. That's the guy I would like. Him and Basuma would be.
I want to see us unearth some talent. Like we talk about like Brighton and all these teams like doing it their way, where they're starting system. They bring players that you've never heard of. And from everything I've learned about Ange, he seems to have a good eye for like scouting and finding players in leagues that, you know, people don't give any credit and bringing those players over, like that Kyoga guy that he brought over to Celtic, that Hatate and that. Some of the players he was able to identify. I think think that's the problem with Tottenham is that we kind of are predictable. Like we'll go for the players that everyone knows, and fair enough because we know that they're good. Like it's not dumb for wanting to go for those players. But I think it might actually work in our benefit if we are a bit unpredictable and go for names that no one's heard of before. It's worked for other clubs. We're seeing clubs ahead of us get into Europe using that philosophy where we've gone out and we've gone for players that we already know in the Premier League that other players have probably played against many times and figured out. I think with Tottenham, it's just a bit too predictable.
No, absolutely agree. And big up Dan, by the way. I'll get to you. I know you wanted to ask questions, but Bum, this is it here. Adebayo, Colwill, and Ito are three players I'd love it. I think Colwill will be a bit different. I mean, we have to spend a bit of money for him. But Ito, who plays at Stuttgart, is one player that. And big up Sean, by the way, because he was the one that put him out. And then all of a sudden, 2 days after he mentioned him on his channel, every aggregator started going Spurs were linked to them. And I just said, Sean is now the new in the know because he was using Y Scout and went, this is a lad that we'd have. And we both went back and did a bit of homework on him and went, you could get him for under 10 million quid, but he'd be perfect at centre half. Adebayo at Fulham, again, another one I think we could get a hold of. And that's more defenders, but I know we're talking a bit differently going forward, but start picking up lads from other leagues that we can get on good prices. And that's exactly how I see it. Big up Dan, by the way. You wanted to ask a question. The floor is yours, my friend. Go for it.
All right. Pardon me. I watch a lot of the shows, always watch yours and Sav and everything.
Much love, mate.
Watching this one, as all I do keep seeing and hearing is a lot of people contradicting themselves here, yeah? I mean, half of us go on about Spurs are this low, or we should be that high, we should be this, we should be that, we should be whatever. And then the players we're meant to go for. Right. What do we do? Do we go for good players that we know can sort us out now and start getting us up to a level? Or we do go for the young ones that have got a potential to be these wonder kids that have got a potential to be better than the ones we can buy now and hope they take us to the next level? As all I keep hearing is half saying we got to go for Maddison, half saying, oh no, we got to go for Scott. He will be a bit cheaper, but he's got potential for this and that. No, Ezzy's much better. Well, Ezzy hasn't done what? He's played his first or second game for England, first one I think, wasn't it? And he looks very good, but he ain't no Jamie Maddison yet. So what do? I keep hearing everyone contradict themselves. I need to know where people stand.
I think
it's
people
a balance, though, isn't it? So sorry, Mia, you go. Sorry.
Sorry, Pat. Yeah. What I'd say is it's not people contradictions, just different people's opinions because it's obviously all very subjective. So for me, I've never been keen on Maddison personally. I feel like Eze's got a higher ceiling, and that's where because he's quite young. So I feel like that he's got a higher ceiling. You can have a mix and match. You can have some players that are a bit more of an experience, maybe in like a Premier League proven player who we know will be not like he'll be good, but they're from a lower team, and also get these youngsters. I think you have to have a good combination and a good mix of players when it becomes like to make a really good cohesive team. So I don't think I ever contradict myself. I feel like that, like I say, it's very subjective. It's a subjective thing, isn't it? With what players you personally like, because I personally don't like Maddison, so that's my own personal preference. But someone else does like him. So
so what do we do then? You can't do.
Well,
both
the thing is, ain't down to people. It's not really down to.
What do we do now? Is what I'm asking you. What do we do now?
I think Maddison is more realistic than Eze because Maddison wants.
Thank you. I agree.
Well, Maddison is much. I think Maddison is the easier option. I think because
easier, and he's a better option for now.
Yeah, for now.
Yes.
And I think with Maddison as well.
This is what I'm asking everybody.
Of course, it's all opinions, but the player I've seen many a player this year being a season ticket holder at Tottenham, and one of the players that made me go wow this year was James Maddison. He is fantastic. He glides over the turf. He's everywhere. He's
not just this season as well.
He is silky.
It's been over a couple of years. Like Eze looks good. Eze does look good. I do like Eze every time I watch him play.
Maddison is more realistic.
Quality player.
I just think it's just been this season though. Like he's been really good this season, where Maddison's been really good for a couple of seasons. And I just think that
if you go by stats, I'm not a stats merchant. I'm not a stats guy, but I do like a stat. But Maddison has like one of the best like creative stats after Harry Kane, doesn't he?
He's the most creative English midfielder out of the pack. Like he's stats wise for goals and assists. He's got the highest number.
But I don't feel anyone's answered my question.
No.
So what do we do?
Listen,
Do we go for it now? Or players that will do it for us in a season or two? What do we do right now?
So do
we start building
Dan,
with
I reckon
players that can do it now or future?
One of the things we have to do right now, and I'm going to speak, we've spoken about Maddison and we've spoken about Eze. Scott, for me, is one of those talents. Do you remember, we're talking more money, but do you remember what we did with Dele Alli? We bought him and we sent him on loan back to MK Dons for half a year. Alex Scott is one of these players that are coming through that you need to get signed by Tottenham or by a football club. Obviously, for us, it's got to be Tottenham Hotspur. Now, if it comes to saying, listen, we'll pay the money and you spend next season on loan, then he comes back season after next, after the European Championships, another year of experience. I want Alex Scott tied down to Tottenham. Do I think he's ready to go straight to the first team like Dele Alli did when he came? No, I don't. Not just yet. Not just yet. I think one more year at Bristol City. He needs to. That's what I want with Alex Scott. Alex Scott at 25 mil, which is the figure they're talking.
I agree.
Has got to be signed because these players don't come about. You got to remember, we talk about this. He's a Spurs man. This kid bleeds Tottenham. If we go in for him, he will come to Tottenham. If it's us and another Premier League team, he will choose Tottenham. And I think he is someone we have to go and get. I will be delighted with either Maddison or Eze. I will be delighted with either of them. My personal preference is Eze because I think later on in the line. But for me, if we're talking about those three, which I think is more essential to get, for me, it's Alex Scott.
Okay. But I'll counter your question. I'll counter your answer. I see it in a different way.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you've said. You've got it bang on, yeah? How much would Alex Scott cost, do you reckon? Random guess.
25 mil is what they're saying.
Right, 25 mil. Now my point is, and we send him straight back. That's just crazy talk. We need the 25 now that we could put on top of the 25 million defender to get another one. We need some players now. What you're looking at there, I think, is too much for the future. We can't afford to do that now. Now, I totally get your point, and you're 1,000,000% right.
Isn't it?
But if we go and spend 25 mil and send him back, half of us are going to pull the rest of our hair out, what we got bloody left of it, and say, well, that 25 mil could have gone there. That 25 mil could have gone there. And I'm one of them ones. I think he'd be brilliant, send him back, whatever else. And all. We can't do that right now. We haven't got the money to do that right now.
You got a point.
So we shouldn't even be looking at doing that now.
This,
we need to go for a Maddison right now, a defender that can do it, not a potential. We need a leader there to take over Romero. And then we also got to get a goalkeeper, this and that. That 25 million could be spent on any of them. So that one, mate, I can't agree with you, but 100% get your point.
I will say this.
Yeah, no,
I love Eze. I think Eze is going to be a great player. But for the price of Eze, we can get Maddison and Scott. And that's your now and
exactly.
Both.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point.
Yeah.
We can't afford to piss ball out at the moment.
That's what I think.
You got listen, Percy, just quickly. I'm gonna have to make Percy. Sorry, bro. I'm gonna have to make a move. I've got to go to see my nephews and my niece.
Mate,
so
honestly,
it's been a pleasure speaking to everyone, and some of the people I've been on stream with first time. So a pleasure to meet you all and speak to you properly. Tottenham Tour are going to be back. Me and Ben are going to record a special video tonight about mental health that we've done before and about a certain situation that a certain person mentioned at the beginning. So that'll be recorded tonight and probably out tomorrow, but we will be back this week. It has been a pleasure speaking to all of you. And if any of you want to come on our channel, just send us a message. You're more than welcome. Have a great day. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And as always, Levy
I'll do it.
out.
Big up, Brian.
Brian, thank you so much. Thank you so much for Brian for coming on. Absolute legend of the channel. He's always welcome on, of course. And guys in the chat, go and subscribe to Tottenham Talk if you haven't. Why don't you? You're mad if you don't, because these guys are amazing. So big up. I think as we were just sort of talking, I'm for one at the moment are at that position where when it comes to the likes of Alex Scott, James Maddison, I'm not too fussed either way. I like both of them. And I actually slightly disagree with what Brian was saying. I think if you bring in Alex Scott, he goes straight into our midfield, by the way. I don't think you need to loan him. I think he's good enough. I watch him play, and I've watched enough of him play to go, this boy's got it. And the problem is, if you get someone like that in, now, and you get a player of his quality in right now, and he starts, you don't want him to end up going to the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool, because those teams will go and get a hold of him if they can. And that's the difference to me.
I just want to
go for it, go.
I was going to say with Maddison, I think if you look at the reason why people want him, it's the same reason why people would want Kane. It's for goals. He gets goals and assists. We need that. We need a creative midfielder that gets goals and assists. It's so straightforward. We can get into like big debates, get into like very deeply, but the long and short of it in football is goals and assists from attacking players. And it's exactly what Tottenham need. So I just think Maddison's just such a simple option. And I think it's the right option.
Maddison, you're getting him for now because you know what he gives you now. Alex Scott's going to take over him in a couple of years, and you can buy them both for 75 million ish. 80 million for the pair of them. Both English, so English tax will be included. You can have less foreign players in the squad. It's a no-brainer for me. It's total no-brain situation. Get them both in.
I mean, if he can walk straight into the team, then do it. It's just like I said, the bit I disagreed with was we are not in no position to go spend 20, 25 mil and send the player straight back. No chance. Will we get Maddison? Well, it's meant to be us, Aston Villa, and Newcastle for him. If Newcastle go for him, no, but we're getting over Villa.
Madison wants to move to London. That's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard. His wife,
him and his missus want to move to London, and there's only one team that's in for him in London. So
yeah, I think if he wanted to go Newcastle, the deal would have been done by now.
Yeah, he wants.
Do you know what? That's a fair point. That is a fair point
because they got players that want to play for Tottenham. If he wants to play for Tottenham, get him in because we've signed loads of players.
We don't do deals quick either.
No, we don't. We don't do deal quickly, and this is where I get at now. And I think when we talk about getting deals done quickly, I think that's a key point here. I think Maddison can be done quicker than the likes of Alex Scott could be done quickly if we do it quietly under the radar. But below, I think once it starts kicking off, you'll start seeing a load of teams wanting to get a hold of him because there'll be teams that do not want him going elsewhere. The likes, as I said, like the likes of Man City. Do you know who wouldn't shock me that might get Alex Scott? One team, Borussia Dortmund. Now that will be the sort of signing Borussia Dortmund will go and get. And then they'll, in the spell of 3 or 4 years, they'll sell him to the likes of a Real Madrid. They did it with Jude Bellingham. They turned him into an absolute superstar.
I'm still annoyed. I would love to have had Jude Bellingham. Apparently, he's going to be better than Jude. I would have loved.
I mean, there's a funny story. I mean, he signed on the same day as his brother did when he signed to Sunderland. But I think that there's a lot when we say about him, he went to Sunderland. Is there a reason for that though? That's the thing.
Well, I don't know if any of you've seen. I've just checked it, but I don't know if that actually. Let me just double check. It's not a fake Ornstein. It might be a fake one.
It might be the fake Ornstein.
I did see some people saying though that Newcastle are the ones that they look like they've put a bid in already on him and it got rejected, so they're going to do a second bid on him. That is true. They are going to put a second bid on him, so it does look like they are pushing to get him.
Yeah. Talking of Fabrizio Romano quickly, he's just come out and said a couple of things regarding Arsenal. That Kai Havertz has been very clear with all parties involved that he wants to play for Arsenal next season. That's the first thing. The second thing he tweeted about Arsenal is that there is concrete chance that Thomas Partey is leaving Arsenal, and the third one is Arsenal have concrete and strong interest in Romeo Lavia. So. Let that sink in that they're going to probably go and get rid of Partey and bring in Havertz and Lavia. Look like that's going to happen, including what will be Declan Rice as well. He's also tweeted that Kylian Mbappe on leaving PSG as a free agent. I will stay at PSG next season and I will only decide my future next year. So he is not going to sign a new contract and he's not going to leave PSG. He seems to just make up how he wants to do, really.
Yeah.
The media.
But you see the Havertz thing. Let Arsenal get him. Personal opinion. He can't act the Premiership. I don't think. Apart from a good goal here or there, what has he really done at Chelsea? To me, if Arsenal
go the one in the Champions League,
that's what I just said. He's done one or two things. Yeah. Apart from that, he's a very average player in that team.
Yeah,
that's like
he really
doesn't stand out that much.
I don't think he's average. I just don't think he has a proper. I don't think we can. I don't think any of us can go, do you know what? He is this position. You know, when you go, Harry Kane is a striker. I don't know. Luka Modric is a midfielder. Does anyone really know what you would consider? Because I don't think Havertz is good enough as a number 9. I don't think he's creative enough to be a number 10. And I don't think
he's better as a false 9.
But that's what I mean. He's probably like a false 9. But
either way,
many players, teams do that.
You've got to be buying him to know what position you want in him.
Yeah,
and to me, that'd just be Arsenal. I think that'd be a poor move by Arsenal. Not that I'm complaining.
75 million for Havertz when there's a Caicedo.
A lot of money in it.
Do you know what though? What I would say, God, I don't like to even praise, but we thought that about some of the other signings that Arteta got in, and they've actually come they've been all right. So I just I don't know. They've come well. They nearly won the league, obviously. So they'll But I'm not saying obviously I'm not going to big up Arsenal at all because I hate them with all my being.
I think their best player is the one that they didn't sign in Saka.
No, of course, he's a fantastic player, isn't he? Obviously, he's their best player. But what I'm trying to say is that if Arteta sees something in him, I wonder if there is something in him that he feels like he can get out of him more than what Chelsea have.
I agree with Dan. I think he's just not making he's average, mate. And you look at what Zinchenko done, everyone bigging the player up. Yeah, City got rid of him for a reason. Why? Because he's just erratic on the ball, and he loses his place and they concede goals. Out of the last goals that Arsenal conceded, 5 were his fault for not being there. He was made to look good because it was all going cushy and he had Saliba covering him. All of a sudden, Saliba's not covering him. Where's Zinchenko? That is why City got rid of him. To me, he's no great. He's good at going forward, but that's it.
Do you know what? The other day, I was just feeling like I needed cheering up, so I watched the compilation of all the Arsenal supporters reacting when they lost against City because they got so cocky with that game that was just like one of the. I loved it. I watched that when I want to cheer myself up and I'm feeling a bit sad. They're the kind of things I need to watch.
Of course, no, definitely.
Interesting one with them signing Havertz because. Why would you spend 75 million on Havertz when you can spend a bit more and get Caicedo, who is a player that's much more suited for
exactly.
But I think
Caicedo is awesome.
Yeah, but I think Caicedo has turned him down, and he wants to go to Chelsea. He has the choice of both of them, and he's turned him down to go to Chelsea.
He did say I was watching it the other day, and they said that they've called their interest or dropped their interest in Caicedo. So Arsenal were not interested in him.
For me, that's normally translation to the player. The player has agreed terms with Chelsea, and so if the player, if what will normally happen is agents will go and say, well, look, we've got an agreement now with Chelsea that he, in principle, wants to go there. We're negotiating the fee. Then why would Arsenal waste their time with a player that's agreed terms with another club? That's normally how it works. And then you hear then they go, oh, Arsenal called their interest. That normally means that the player is agreed to go elsewhere, and we're not going to get involved anymore because we're not wasting our time. That's normally what that means.
In January, they instead of mucking him about, and I think that's probably the reason because they mucked him about in January and didn't pull the trigger on the deal.
Well, no, but it was Chelsea. It was Arsenal lowballing. I think he wanted to go to Arsenal at the time in January, but Arsenal were pissing about with the transfer, which they're now doing exactly the same with Declan Rice, by the way.
Yeah,
and I think this is they're doing what Spurs do. They're just Spurs. They're just Arsenal are just Spurs, but with FA Cups at the moment. Like literally, that's the pain at the moment. But listen, whatever we say about it now. They're going to still be there or thereabouts really next season. Let's be honest.
They're a good side.
They are. They're
good 11.
If they sign another centre back, because Gabriel was shit in my opinion, he's another. He was made to
overrated.
He was made to look by Saliba, who is awesome. Saliba is going to be absolutely he is. I think
he'll be at Real Madrid. He'll be at Real Madrid. Saliba. Yeah. He just fits. So give it a few more years.
Class.
The difference is, do you know what's so good? When we talk about Real Madrid and we talk about elite football clubs, Real Madrid don't care if a player like a Saliba will sign a long-term deal because they'll go, we'll let him play there at Arsenal for a few years. And when it's time, when we're going to let one go, we'll go in and pay £100 million from its centre half, and they go and get their man. And
That's how they've always done it.
I think Saliba is an absolute class act. And I said at the time when we were linked with him, I was like, we needed to get this man before Arsenal. And then Arsenal were heavily favourites to get hold of him. And I said, I just feel like this is one we've slipped through the cracks to the rivals. And yeah, that's a killer. I've got a few questions, guys. Before we do that, 15 more likes, guys, and we can hit the 100 target. That would be amazing, guys. We're going to go for probably another 20 odd minutes and stuff. We'll go for another 2.5 hours, because why not? You guys are all in here watching it. So yeah, please smash the like button. And if you haven't, go and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to Tottenham Tour, go and subscribe to Mia up there, and obviously Total Oz Spur up there as well. And Ty, have you got a channel?
No, mate.
Oh, you haven't. I thought, for some reason I thought you had a channel. We'll let you plug your socials a bit later as well at the end, definitely. Few questions I pinned and stuff from a bit earlier, so sorry a bit delayed. But when chats are going, I just pin them and we'll get back to them when the sort of debate finishes. DJ's asked, would you guys take Kyle Walker back?
Absolutely.
I mean, straight away 100%, but don't think Kyle Walker will want to come back.
I think if the money's right, I think he would come back. If the money's right, and he's got, I think he would come back personally.
He's got everything.
He could go to Bayern Munich, who are linked with him. Why would you come to Spurs?
Everything I've heard him say over the years.
He has an affinity with Tottenham fans. He always loved being at Tottenham. It's just we fucked up Kyle Walker. He didn't fuck up us. We fucked up him because he wants to be starter. Poch said no. I'm going to rotate you with Trippier because Trippier's a good player. So Walker said I'm out of here.
Okay, hear me out. Do you know what Kyle Walker's got a bigger affinity than Tottenham with?
Sheffield United.
Winning trophies. Trust me, going to Bayern Munich, he'll go and win trophies. Kyle Walker, since going to Man City, has been absolutely ruthless. He has won trophy after trophy after trophy. And for me, if I was him, and I still put him, even at the age of 33, as an elite football player, why would he come to Tottenham when the likes of Bayern Munich are going in for him? And he can go there for 2 years and go and win the league twice. That's my theory.
Look, me and you could go to Barcelona and win something. It's not that hard.
I think he'd come back to Tottenham. I think Walker would do it.
I know. I think if Spurs were the only team on the table, he would. But if the likes of Bayern Munich were on the table, let's just throw a few more in. If Juventus were on the table, if PSG were on the table, just picking ones at random off the top of my head, Atletico Madrid, for argument's sake, or Barcelona, just throwing names on.
All right, I'll give you an answer.
Down and down, aren't they?
I'll give you an answer. How many English players actually seem to like going abroad?
How many? I don't think Jude Bellingham's done too badly.
No,
I said how many? Not many.
Oh, how many?
Not a lot.
Not as many that like coming to England.
Exactly. And what I'm saying is he might just want to stay in England and he might be happy to chill out a bit now. I mean, he's won everything.
Win stuff, though. He's good enough to go and win stuff. And let's be honest.
I'm not saying he wouldn't do it, but he might just want to stay in England now.
For some reason, I think Kyle Walker will still go to Sheffield United because that's how he grew up. I think he would reject both Bayern and Tottenham if Sheffield United came calling because he loves that football club.
Really? I'll be honest. I would be amazed for a player that's won as much as Kyle Walker has won in his career at Man City. And if Bayern Munich come knocking, I think I would be. I'll be honest. I'll say it here. I'll be gobsmacked. Hear me out. Here's another one. I'll put another 100 euros into my charity fund if Kyle Walker rejects Bayern Munich to go to Sheffield United. There you go. That's another clip. That could be 200 euros to the kitty, by the way, if both those things happen. If he ends up there over the likes of
I think it's just the timing. If we was like a year into Ange's project and it was going well and we were playing attractive football, I think Kyle Walker might look at it and be like, I love some of that. But I think right now Tottenham just looks like hard work. It's even just like with the managers, the managerial search. It looked like managers didn't really want to join. Like if I was a professional in football and I looked at what was happening in Spurs, despite being a Tottenham fan, I wouldn't want anything to do with it.
I'll totally get your point, mate. I mean, if he came to Spurs, he'd probably be our second captain.
No, and bump of K, mate. I know that, but my point being is like, if Bayern Munich were on the table and Tottenham were there side by side, let's just put those two, put Sheffield United to a side for a second. If those two were on the table right now, he's going to go to Bayern Munich. This is a man, as I said, is an elite football player that has won stuff at Man City. He could go 2 more years at Bayern Munich and go and win 2 more leagues. He could even go to the Champions League with him.
I don't think he would.
Money talks.
Oh, come on. This is an elite football player. Why would he not
All
go
right.
to Bayern Munich?
All right. I'm even that winning that I'll put a bet on here with you that if he goes anywhere, it won't be anywhere but England. It'll be in England, wherever he goes. He will not go abroad.
Yeah, no. But my point being is obviously, I would agree to what your point is there. But my point being is that's obviously subjective. We're only hearing rumours that Bayern Munich want him.
Exactly.
I will accept your bid on one caveat. If there is enough evidence when I came reporting that he has turned down Bayern Munich to stay at an English club, I'll accept your bet. Is that fair?
Would you call enough evidence? I mean,
so like, for example,
we see evidence.
If the likes of Romano come out and say Carl Walker is joining Spurs, Sheffield United, insert English club there, doesn't matter. He had offers from the likes of Bayern Munich, but has decided to stay in England. In that caveat, it doesn't have to be worded like that, but you get the gist of it. Then I'll accept the bet.
Okay,
if he goes to Sheffield United, but there was no stalked evidence that Bayern Munich genuinely wanted him, then that's a bit unfair.
Bump of K is a great point. Walker does not want to play wing back anymore. So why, unless he's going to be going to Bayern Munich to play centre back, which I don't think he is, I don't think he's going to play for Thomas Tuchel. If Thomas Tuchel is the manager of Bayern Munich, I don't think Carl Walker goes there.
Right, so how do we do our bet then? So how do you want to do the bet?
I don't think he goes there.
We'll put €50 to charity. I think that's a fair deal. €50 for my charity. One of us puts it into the pot when we do the charity stream. That if Carl Walker turns down, and I put that in massive bold letters, turns down a non-English team and joins an English team in this transfer window, then I will put €50 into it, or 50 quid, whatever you want to call it. And obviously, if he goes and joins a non-English team, you throw 50 quid into the charity fund.
That's fine by me. We got a deal.
See, there you go. We've got witnesses. We've got 114 of you watching. That's a fair deal. There you go. See, it has to, obviously for charity, because I'm always happy to do it for the charity, because I think it means genuinely a lot to me. And before we carry on, guys, 9 people. Come on. There's 117 of you in here. 9 likes. Come on. Only need one in 10 of you just need to hit that like button.
There's 93 likes. There's 93 likes.
No, mine's a bit delayed. Then 93 likes. Says 7. That's still 7. Come on, smash that button.
Get those likes up.
Get those likes up. We get over 100. It means the world massively. But yeah, no, definitely. I think Pep gets rid of his leakers. I don't think Carl Walker is his weakest link. But no, what Pep wants, do you know what it is? And big up Ellie, by the way. Big up to you. I don't think. Do you know what Pep does, which he does better than any other manager in world football? He gets rid of players before they become nothing. Does that kind of make sense? So he got rid of the likes of Zinchenko. He's released Gundogan, by the way. I know there's still talks he might re-sign. This is a man that basically scored copious amounts of goals at the end of the season, and he turned them down. He hasn't re-signed. Yes, he might go on and sign a new contract, but he refreshes like no one else. He goes, do you know what? I don't care. Carl Walker's still up here on level. I'm going to get rid of him and bring the next one in. Maybe on this level. He's got the likes of Rico Lewis he's trying to bring through. He is the master of... Do you know what he's doing? What Ferguson did?
Him and Ferguson.
Ferguson was a master at it. He got rid of players at their peak, and Carl Walker's still at the peak, even at 33. And gets the next one in. He's an absolute brilliance of it all.
One of them
that's what he's so good at. I think we have you got Benjamin, are we at the 100 likes, my friend? Am I saying 99? Are we one more away?
Yes, we are at the 100 likes. So big up, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. And keep it going, by the way. It doesn't mean stop at 100. Let's keep going. Let's keep trying to see if we can get the most likes I've ever got. The most likes I've ever got on a video was 134. So if we can be 134, that'd be incredible. But yeah, no. Listen, I'd love. By the way, this is me saying I'd love Kyle Walker to come back to Spurs. By the way, I love him there. I think he'd fit quite well in our system.
Yeah,
I just think it's realistic.
Let's same thing I said about Laporte. If Kyle Walker comes into Tottenham, I make him captain.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agree.
Captain immediately, and I think Harry Kane wouldn't be pissed off about one of his mates being captain because he's won everywhere.
Agreed.
Absolutely. That leadership mentality. If Kyle Walker came to Tottenham, immediately made captain.
No,
I think that would piss Harry Kane right off.
I don't think it would.
I don't think it should matter. It's not about what's best for him. It's what's about best for the club, best for the team.
I agree, but I think that one would get right up his back. I can't agree there. I think that would piss him off to the. That would go to another level.
If he doesn't want to be pissed off and he wants to be captain, sign on the dotted line.
Yeah,
exactly. If you don't sign, then yeah. But if he does sign, who'd you make captain then?
If he signs a 3-year deal, I'll make Harry Kane captain.
Of course,
just to show a bit of loyalty.
Do you know what I say? And this is where I said about this is what I say about Harry Kane. I know Ben, you've got to shoot in a minute. So if you didn't do, massive thank you for coming on. But I'm assuming you want to hear what I'm going to say first. So my point is Harry Kane. As I said, I always caveat one of the greatest players I've ever seen at this football club since I've watched us play, But if he's leaving next year, my theory is if he's leaving next year on a free, we cannot make this man captain. However much I think he's the greatest player at this club, because you can't go and get player after player. So next season, Harry Kane's captain, and then we go and get another captain. No, Angie's the consistent captain that's going to be there.
Fine.
And if Harry Kane signs on the dotted line, as Ben says, then he's 100% captain. But if he doesn't, I think there's definite question marks why someone else should be valid reason why someone else should be captain.
Who would we have as captain?
Doris lady.
Doris the tea lady.
There's only other one man then, and it's a player I think he captains his country as well. It's got to be Son Heung-min.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think
he's a good captain for South Korea.
Mate, I've got to go with that one.
I think so.
He's
I think
great
that's
captain
because we got such a lack of leaders.
Everyone loves Son Heung-min could be vice captain or he should be captain.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. No one else there's got it.
I think that's just the problem.
Absolutely agree. Ben, mate, are you going to shoot, mate?
Yeah, I've got to shoot, boys.
Ben, absolute pleasure. Always a pleasure having you on, mate. And listen, go and subscribe to the coffee company now. Put the link in the chat. I'll pin it. Go and give this man. This man should be over 500 by now. How is he not? Come on. Go and subscribe to the coffee company now. There's 100. How many people are in there? There's 122 people in here right now. How many subs are you on at the moment, Ben?
306.
He's on 306. Let's try and get that to 350. So if you haven't, there's over 100 of you in here. I doubt all of you have all subbed to this man. So go and subscribe to him now. Try and get him to 350 today. Let's do that, man. There you go. I'll pin it now. It should be pinned now.
Greatly appreciated, everyone.
Yeah, go over there and subscribe and go and watch him during the week because it's amazing. 2:00 every day in the week. Great times. We go and watch over there. Ben, always a pleasure. Always welcome on here, mate.
Lovely to see you all again. Lovely to meet some of you for the first time. And
Did you just call me boys again? I'll tell you what. I'm having a bit of a crisis right here.
Mia, unfortunately, Mia, you are one of the lads.
You're one of the lads.
Fine. I'll be one of the lads.
So thank you, everyone, and have a great day. And as always, in the words of Daigle, Levy out.
Much love. Take care, mate. Take care.
Take care, Ben.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna go for about 5 or 6 minutes more left anyway. So, guys, if anyone in the chat wants any more questions, we're gonna go for, as I said, 5 or so minutes. So get your questions in. Do you think this week coming now is going to be such an important one for Tottenham in the likes of with the likes of trying to get in the players of David Raya, Maddison, Barnes, obviously been linked. It's obviously gone rather quiet on the sort of Maddison, well, on all three of them really. Is anyone worried some of these are going to sort of slip by and go elsewhere?
100%.
Yeah, of course. We're Tottenham.
Yeah.
I think we've got Raya. I think the deal's done. And I think we'll have him next week.
Okay.
I hope so.
What do you think roughly the fee will be?
I think we're getting for about 30 mil cash and then another 5-8 million in if he plays 50
I
games,
said
if he does this, he does that.
I said that I think it'll be a 30 million with about 10 million give or take on add-ons here and there.
Levy's unachievable add-ons.
Well, that's the thing is, who saw the comments when David Raya came out? Who had a little bit of a chuckle with the comments he came out with? I want to win titles and compete at the highest level in Europe.
Spurs,
I kind of giggled and went, you do realise you want to join Tottenham, my friend?
I'll tell you what's done us the favour with Raya, and it's a big favour. The other day, I was saying, if you remember, on a couple of things I put in here, the goalkeeper I screamed us to go for 3-4 years ago was Onana when he was at Onana, whatever he wants to call himself, Ajax. Blinding keeper. And then Inter went and got him, which is my second team. I was like, okay, why didn't Spurs go for him? Because I think we've needed a keeper for 4 years, not 3 years. And now that he's come on the market, and I said, Inter do sell because they do need money. And I've said this before. That's why I keep saying we should go for bloody Goossens as the left back because we're getting a respectable price. Now that he's on the market, basically.
Do you think he can play left back? I think he's more of a wing back. He's more of like a Perisic style left winger.
He's better than Perisic coming back.
No, I think
Perisic is better going forward.
I'm not about. It's just that same style of player where they're
but he does sit back as left back, whereas Perisic, to me, I think we should keep Perisic as a left winger because he does cross them in. But what I'm saying is,
I think Perisic. I'm going to go on a whim, and I think he's been so underwhelming as a signing. Yes, he's got a few assists, but a lot of those will come from.
I think he was double figures, wasn't he, for assists?
Yeah, but look how many of them have come from corners, though. That's my point. I get your point.
If he's playing higher up, though, if he plays higher up the pitch,
he plays attacking mid-left for Croatia. He's not a wing back,
and he's got an elite mentality as well, which is
I haven't seen elite mentality this year.
I don't think another year Tottenham can drown you. Like Tottenham, you can have like a big mentality, but when you come, I see it at United as well. It's just a toxic vibe, and players that should be doing well just do badly. I think when you see him playing for Croatia, and he's around other players that have got character, you see the best of him. And I think if Ange comes in and we get playing well and we keep him in an attacking position where you don't have to do all the dog work going back, he is really good at putting the ball in the box. He puts really dangerous balls in, even into the areas as well when he's getting pressed.
Even if it's backup, perfect. But the point I said earlier, where Onana's on the market, Chelsea look at him and want him. Man U look at him and want him because he's got a bigger name than Raya. That's taken him off of Raya. That's why I think the deal's done, basically.
Yeah. No, I get. Listen, I'm happy to concede on the sort of Paris. I think he's a quality player 3 years ago. If that makes sense. I think now it's
but he's still a good player now.
He's a good player, but he's not. I think if he went back to Italy, he would shine again. He's much slower, much more. Yeah. He's a technically great player, but I don't think he's got the pace and the energy to handle in this league. And I think you can tell from his he's got the ability, the technical ability. I just don't think he's got the energy anymore. We've got a few more questions, and we're going to do those quickly now before we finish, because we're going to go and finish in about 2 or 3 minutes now. Big up Audio Artisan said, any thoughts on Jed Spence? I think you could battle with Royale for right back while Porro battles Kulu at right wing. To a certain degree, I agree with that. I think I can definitely...
Porro should be up there. Yeah. Porro should be on the wing, mate.
I agree. That's what he's saying. That Porro
I agree.
Will be rotating with Kulu. Spence will be working with Royale in the sense of right back. I think that's a great shout. Do you know what? I'm going to go on a whim and say I think we can see something out of Jed Spence next season. Hold me to it, and I can't wait to come back in a year's time and go, and he's been crap. But I actually think we've got a player there, and we just didn't get an opportunity under Conte. Anyone else have that thoughts?
No, I completely agree with you.
And Porro on the right, you've got pure pace going up that right hand
side. Agreed. You got good pressing, haven't you? You got pace.
Yes.
Do you know what? While I agree, and I feel like if anyone's going to get good out of Spence, it will be Postecoglou. But apparently, he hasn't got the greatest of attitudes, and there's been other little things that have been said about him. So I just hope that Ange can get that out of him. That's the only one thing I would say.
I think that's absolutely fair. Me, I totally agree. I think it's totally fair. We've got a couple more questions. Would you bring Danny Rose back for his experience? I hope dragging these nuts is an absolute wind up. No. I mean, I don't think Danny Rose wants to come back. I'll be honest.
I'd like him to come back in the sense of with the youngsters. Not playing.
No.
But,
As a coach.
yeah, with the youngsters.
No.
'Cause he's been in and around the youngsters.
Do you know
And
what?
he's
No,
supported the youngsters.
No.
way.
Do you know
That'd be
what?
the
I feel
worst
like
thing you could do.
Do you know what I think goes really under the radar? I feel like he's got a bit of a bad attitude. Like I feel like
Yeah,
some of the
just
things,
a
I feel
bit.
like he's got such a bad,
Maybe.
and I think
I
that goes.
think there was
I
a
think
lot that happened with him there. Though.
yeah, but I do feel like that goes under
Yeah.
the radar, and
I
everyone
think there's
says
a lot
about
more.
him. But I'm a bit like, nah, man, I don't like him.
No,
I don't
yeah,
like
but
the shit.
I'm
I
I'm
don't
with
like
you
stuff he said.
1,000,000%. He
Yeah, I
feels the
agree.
world owes him something and it owes him nothing.
Yeah, that's
That
fair.
is not the sort of person you want round kids.
No
Yeah,
way.
no, that's fair.
Purely opinion.
I
Yeah,
think
no.
he was like that when he was playing. But now that he's stopped playing, he's actually come
No.
back and helped the youngsters out at Tottenham.
Even when he does
He's still-
interviews, he's quite unprofessional. He doesn't like, in football, it's all well and good for us fans to come out and speak our mind because we pay to watch everything. But when you're a professional who gets paid by, like, you're getting paid by the club, you're getting paid by football to do your job, you kind of need to keep your opinions to yourself and be like professional. And whenever he speaks, even the way he talks about Tottenham, I'm like, bro, this guy has no respect for us at all.
Yeah, man, no
Bringing him back
respect.
is just like,
I mean,
know
he
he
has
had
respect for
issues.
us as a fan base, but I think there was a big problem. He did fall out massively at Tottenham, and when he left, it was a sour note. I do agree. And finally, question, guys, by DJ: do you see Brian Hill as an Ange Postecoglou player? I'm
Yes,
going to go
yes.
straight out and say, yeah, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see. I think I'm going to go out again. Another women say, I think we're going to see the player that we actually wanted to sign here.
He's
But the
perfect for your
caveat,
winger.
but the caveat with that, he does need to go to the gym and eat a bit of Greek
No, he
food as well.
doesn't.
No.
He
does
does.
not.
He needs a
No,
bit
he
more
doesn't.
strength.
I'll give you the answer. He does not. Tell me a winger that is built like a brick shithouse.
Oh no, I don't want him to be built like
Sorry,
that,
sorry.
but just a bit
He's
more.
not gonna.
a
The most
bit
he's
more
gonna do is
strength.
take some
But that's-
steroids and put some perks on his chest.
he's going to
that is his
naturally get
build.
stronger over time anyway.
Yeah.
You can tell from his body
What-
physique right now, as a man, when he gets into his 30s and his 40s, you can see what type of body he's going to have. He's quite blessed. He's got a fast metabolism. He's never really going to
Yeah.
be fat.
Yeah.
And asking
That's what I
players,
said.
you go to the gym and you see those guys, they find it so hard to put on weight. They'll eat everything.
I've got friends
they'll
like
eat
it. Yeah.
And some people just don't put on weight, where other people, they eat one cream cake and they put on a stone. It's just
Exactly.
different.
Yeah, man, I know that.
He's pure pace. He can cross the ball. He can pass the ball. He can chase the ball. And even if he gets knocked it off there, like I said yesterday, then that's a free kick for us into the box.
Yeah.
For me, he's just a no-brainer that should be playing on our left wing. If we play left wing, not inverted, I'd play him over Son.
Yeah, I think you have to play some, but I know what you mean. It'll be a good utility player that we'll have, and I think we might see the best out of him in next season. I'll be honest, I genuinely do. Guys, we're gonna quickly wrap up here. I just want to sort of let everyone know. Massive thank you everyone who subscribed today. I think we've gained about I want to say 16 subscribers today. So if we can get a few more, that'd be amazing. If we can get another 6 more to get to 830, sorry, that would be amazing. Mia, also go and subscribe to Mia. Where's Mia? Do you want to go and put your link in the chat? I can't find it.
It is in the private chat. If you
Oh,
go,
no, I have got it. I'll go and put yours in. Everyone go and subscribe to Mia. Go and subscribe to Jason at Total Osper as well. Again, Jason, whack your link in there. I can't seem to see it. So go and subscribe to all these amazing people. Go over there, go subscribe, go and watch their stuff. Because listen, as I always say this, I say something people don't realize. It's not as easy as just flicking on a camera and chatting to people. We've got to get stuff organized, create thumbnails. It takes a lot of our time up and stuff. And a lot of us all have our own jobs as well that we do this on top. And we put in a lot of money ourselves into do it. So clicking a button that costs absolutely nothing, so hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, it's completely free of charge, and it does the world of us for us lot that are doing this. Yeah, and guys, if you want to plug your socials, go and do so. Ben's still here. Good up, big up, Ben. Yeah, go and subscribe to Total Osper. Go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Go and subscribe to Mia over here. And also, guys, go and subscribe to me. That'll be lovely. As I said, we're up to 824. It's been absolutely whirlwind. We're flying up with subscribers, which we're so close to the 1,000. I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Genuinely means the world. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. That was good.
Thanks for having us on, mate.
Yeah,
Cheers,
having us
Thank you
on.
very much.
Always a pleasure. We can do it again tomorrow, but tomorrow we're back on Monday, so we're going to start back at middays. We'll do the hour for midday. Obviously, I normally follow Sava. Sava won't be streaming. He is still on the stag do at the moment. I believe he's boarded the plane today. So, I'll just put it out there. I've seen the pictures of him getting on the plane with a really funny costume that they're all wearing. So so Sava is on his way to Benidorm for a few days, and then he goes on a quiet holiday with the missus. Maybe the caveat on why he went to the stag do and done both there. So there won't be any more on Sava's show. So I will be doing it from 12 o'clock for an hour. So come and join. Why not? We'll have a little chat tomorrow, and you guys obviously welcome on as well. On that note, guys, we're going to end it. Thank you so much for coming on, guys, and thank you guys, everyone in the chat. Much love.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Bertie.
Enjoy your